Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Can we start, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, please, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody once again. Thank you so much for joining for the third session. I know it's very taxing and difficult, but I hope it's making sense and it's helping. The way we did this seminar is like squeezed in one weekend so that we get maximum participation, because last time we tried doing it over 4 weekends and then we saw that people were not consistent. They joined 1 or 2 sessions but missed other sessions, and that's why they could not get the full benefit of it. So this time we thought, and Nam Ruchi Prabhu kindly agreed that yes, we can devote maximum time, though it would be little hectic for devotees, but that would be the most effective way to deliver this session. So thank you so much for bearing with me for this. So let us go ahead. So we discussed that we have to invest in equity to generate returns and to get our money grow, and we see how systematically we can do without taking any undue risk. So we took various steps, like we are doing small increments one at a time. We are doing it for the long term. We are doing it in index funds, so we are not investing in just a couple of handful of stocks. We are investing across the market, and we are doing it systematically over a period of, like, with a horizon of a long term, like 15-year plus. So with all these factors, we can reduce the risk which generally comes with equity, and we can very confidently assume that we can get compounded return of 7 to 10%. Some years it may be less, some year it may be low, but on an average, we can hit that mark over a long period of time. So now next thing is asset allocation. So what does it mean? That though we want to invest in equity, but we don't want to keep everything in equity, because inherently equity is a risky asset. So whether we do it, we took all the precautions and everything, but still it is inherently a risky asset. So to further minimize our risk, and especially with any shock, like with the sudden market crash and things like that. So how do we protect our investment from such events? So for that, the concept which we need to follow is asset allocation. What does it mean? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you put all your eggs in one basket and if that basket fall, then all the eggs will be destroyed. But if you put it in different baskets, then even if one basket fall, the other baskets are safe.
Another.
Yeah. Sorry, Prabhu, is there any question?
5 item, right?
Sorry, do you have any question, Bhavesh Prabhu?
No, bro, I think.
Yeah. So that is called equity, like asset allocation. Like how do we allocate our asset within different asset class so that we can avoid that shock. So the way we do it. So thumb rule is, again, it depends on situation, like depending upon your own individual risk profile, like how much you get concerned or how much, because in equity assessment, the biggest block is our own behavior and emotion. The better we are at controlling our behavior and emotion, the better equity investor we can become. But depending upon your risk profile and how much you are averse to risk or how much you are susceptible to risk, you may decide based upon that. But in general, for a healthy growth of your investment, the thumb rule is that you have 100 minus your age, like this much of your total allocation into equity. So if you are 40 years of age, then at least 60% of your investments should be in equity. So you take into account all your investments, whether it's in India or in US, whether it's in property, whether it's in gold, whether it's in FDs, whether it's in mutual funds, stocks, IRAs, ETFs, life insurance policies. So make a note of all of these and calculate and see where they are currently. Like, are you too much into debt, or you're too much into equity, or you're too much into property? So like that, if you see, then let's say you have $100,000 total net worth, like including everything, your bank balance and everything else. Then out of that, if 60,000 is in equity, that means 60% is in equity. So you can do a very simple math to figure that out. Again, it's very middle school math. To figure that out, you just have to, you can make use of Excel sheet. So that is the rule of thumb. Now, somebody may want to be little aggressive. Let's say you are already into the middle age and you have not invested in equity so far at all, and you don't have much corpus already. If you want to go little aggressive, you can have up to 70% or 80% in equity. Or if you're too conservative, you already have assets built up, you already have savings and assets so far, then you can have some less also. So, but I'm just giving you general guideline. So always maintain the balanced allocation between equity and bond and fixed income. The way it works is that they are the two pendulums of the same weight. So let's say if equity goes high and bond goes down, then you will try to balance it again to bring it to the same level. And same is for vice versa. So let's say you would start with allocation 60-40, then you want to remain into that allocation for, let's say, next few years. Let's say now you become 65 years old, 45 years old, then you want to shift your allocation to 35-55. 45-55. So like that. So you can monitor that once in a year. You don't have to do every now and then. Once in a year, or when any sudden market movement happen, like sudden rise or sudden crash. In both those scenarios, like if you have steady rise or steady drop, then it's not a problem. But if you have sudden rise or sudden drop, at that time you can have a look. Again, going about that analogy of autopilot. If you get thunderbolt, fastening your seatbelt warning sign is on. So at that time you can just have a look. Okay. So
Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
sure. Yeah, sure.
Prabhuji, is this like the thumb rule you're saying, right? 100 minus your age
Yes.
equity. Is this only, is this our total asset, or is it like after
Total.
our total asset?
Total, everything.
Including our home?
Not your home in which you are living, because that doesn't count as an asset, because that is a necessity. That is not something which you can dispose of, which you can use for anything else. So like, apart from the home which you are living, if there is any other property or home, then you should include that.
Okay. And equity is stock, Prabhu, generally?
Yes, stock, mutual funds, if you have 401k allocation in equity, so anything where you have invested in equity, directly or indirectly.
This also includes the 401k.
Yes, part of 401k. If you are in target fund, then not your entire is in equity. So if you look at the portfolio of target fund, it will tell you how much percent is equity and how much is bond. So based on that, you can break it down.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So as I said, it's a 1 year yearly exercise. So it won't take more than half an hour. So again, it's not something which we watch daily. Today, what happened? Today, what happened? No, once in a year. Just half an hour. Maximum it will take.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So why it is important, I mentioned, because we want to take advantage, as I said earlier, that when others are greedy, we want to be fearful. When others are fearful, we want to be greedy. So when market is rising, it means that other people are getting greedy. So if it rises too much that it shift our allocation, then we want to sell some equity and move that to equity bond, so that we get the advantage of that. Similarly, when market is crashing, others are getting fearful. So we want to buy more at that time, so that we get the advantage of buying on sale. So at that time, then we can buy more equity and make our balance again right. Now, beauty is if you are doing it in target fund, 401k, for example, we discussed. So in that, you don't have to do this because that fund will do it automatically for you. So again, you don't have to do any action on that. Similarly, if you are buying IUL policy, then in that options are there to select blended funds. Blended fund means like same hybrid funds where it invests both in equity and bonds. So again, there you don't have to do anything on your end. In ETFs, if you are maintaining on your own, then you have to do this. So for that, I have shared both the bond tickers with you and the ETF equity tickers with you. So you can select a location like 60, 40, 70, 30, whatever you want to start with. So let's say if you are investing $100 per month, you can invest $70 in equity and $30 in a bond fund, so that it will maintain that. You will start with that allocation and then you can review once you do it. That's it. So very simple. No high complications here. Just half an hour yearly exercise. Or if you get some market shocks in between, then at that time just review it once to see if it has shifted more than 5%. We don't want to take action if it is just within 1-2% range. If it shifted more than 5% in our target allocation, then we don't want to take some action, because we don't want to react on everyday movement of the market. Okay.
Prabhuji, this also includes the hardship savings that we keep. Like for example, we need to have some hardship savings, right? If there is some
include everything, because that overall that is very small percentage, because as I said, we just have to keep 3 to 6 months. So in the overall scheme of things, that amount will be very small.
Prabhuji, a question here. So you mentioned that thumb rule 100 minus your age. Right. So is it within equity, how much should be towards equity and how much towards debt, or overall whatever you have in that, how much should be towards equity?
No, overall, as I said, example, like you collect all your assets, whatever they are. And in that, then equity should be 100 minus your age. So if your overall assets are 100,000 and then your age is 40, then out of that 60,000 should be in equity. And if it is less, it means that you are under allocated. If it is more, then you are over allocated.
Okay. And then between equity and debt, you are saying, right? Like you keep that is there any percentage guidance there? Like I missed that part.
So total is 100%. So out of that, equity is 100 minus your age, so rest become debt automatically. You got it? So total, so 100%. So anything is 100%, right? So total pie is 100%.
Yep.
So out of that pie, let's say equity is 50%.
Okay.
Real estate is 20%, gold is 10%, and then debt is 10%. So look at this picture here. So like that. So out of that pie, you have to keep equity as 100 minus your age.
Got it. And whatever is reducing should come towards debt is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank
you. Yeah. And I'm sure that when you do it, that most of you, it will be, if you are having extra real estate, then it will be heavily tilted toward real estate. So almost 80 to 90% or 70% of your asset just might be in real estate. So that is one area of concern which need to be addressed.
Prabhuji, when you're looking at real estate, do we put what we paid off, or there may be still loan on that real estate, right?
Yeah, so if it is a loan, if it is a loan, then you have to take only how much is your share in that so far, which is called like equity. So don't calculate if your home price is 300K, then don't calculate entire 300K if you are still paying loan. Just see how much you have already paid off. Based on that, only include that much. And again, as I'm saying that in house you are living, that is not to be counted. Only if it is extra house or extra property, that needs to be counted.
Okay. And how do you consider that?
Gold is it a equity or else it's a gold? Because
gold is a separate on its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the nature of it? Is it a debt kind of thing or else equity kind?
Yeah, it's a commodity, so it's neither debt nor neither equity. So it's a third asset class on its own. So gold generally is used for hedging, like hedging, what you say is covering your risk. So when both equity and debt are going south, like making losses, then probability is that gold will rise. So we just see the recent example where in last 6 months, gold has appreciated a lot, right? So there would be some times here and there will come when gold will appreciate. But again, as a long-term asset, we saw that it does not generate more than equity. So that's why I don't recommend devotees to go overboard on gold. If you want to invest, then again, as I said, there are gold ETFs as well. So invest in gold ETFs. Don't invest in jewelry. Again, that's a very, very destructive way of investing. As a devotee, Kanthi Mala is our best ornament, and except that we don't need anything else.
Investment in the sense gold coins or biscuits.
Gold coins. Yeah, gold coin, biscuit, again, physical gold does not give any other benefit because again, you have to store it, you have to take care of it against the theft, loss, and those kind of things. So best is to buy electronic gold. That is through gold ETFs. So it is available both in India as well as in US. So you can take advantage.
Can you suggest something here, Prabhu?
Yeah, there is a ETF, SGL. Its ticker is SGL, and I will share this slide. So there was a slide on gold. So I
If you have covered it, okay, we will.
Yeah, I intentionally missed that because that was before this. But since we are running little behind, so I intentionally missed that slide. But when I share this slide, there is a slide on gold investment, so you can go through it.
Okay.
So there I have mentioned which is a good ETF to invest in gold if you want.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can you just clarify the third point that maintain the balanced allocation between equity and bonds? So is it within that one allocation you are switching based on how market is doing?
No, so like as I said, like if you start with let's say 60-40, then try to maintain that allocation. So if market moves too much in one direction and if that shifted from 60-40 to let's say 65-35, then you again try to make it 60-40.
Okay.
Like that. And based on your age, then again you keep on shifting it every 5 years. So every 5 years when your age is you are growing older, then again you keep on shifting it accordingly. So that way you can insulate yourself from the sudden market crashes, which may happen anytime.
Prabhuji, can you help define what fixed income means?
Yeah, fixed income is again like debt and bonds we discussed in the morning first session. when I discuss various types of bonds and ETFs. Yeah. So it is means big fixed means safe, means that has less risk or no risk involved. Equity means where it's a risk available.
Yeah. Ruji, when it comes to property, how you calculate the percentage?
Percentage of what?
Like for example, you said for equity.
Yeah, so you put your total asset now. So when you put all your asset, it comes out to be, let's say, 300,000. So what is the percentage of it? 300 divided by whatever that property share. So that will give you the percentage. So let's say there is something 100, out of that something is 30. So that means it's 30%. Something is 20, so that means it's 20%.
Okay.
So like simple math. Yeah.
So if you have property, like higher worth, then your most of the percentage will go there, right?
Yeah. So that's why then your asset allocation is skewed too much towards one asset class. It means like putting all eggs in one basket. So you are getting into that zone.
Right.
Yeah.
So Broji, for example, when this equity, when it get matured, I'm getting X amount of money. So that is that plus your property altogether, and then you find out the percentage, and that's how you calculate, right?
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
This assets is like anywhere, like US or India, everything, right?
Yes, everywhere. Yeah, whatever you have.
Okay.
Prabhu, you probably mentioned this. This is only for not the primary home, right? This
Yes, not primary.
Prabhuji, ETF, the exchange traded funds, you mentioned equity and bond related tickers.
Right.
So you're talking about the same tickers we need to allocate then.
Yes, like that.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, what do you think about cryptocurrency?
It's gambling, not for devotees. Stay away from it. Short answer.
Okay.
In this equation, if your recommendation is not to put any real estate, how does this change?
So ideally, you can just live with equity and debt. You don't need any other. Real estate should not be as a asset. Like you should have only one house in which you are living. Other than that, you should not have any other real estate. Except if you are having some agricultural land where you want to protect cows, do agriculture for yourself or for community. If that is the case, then it's fine. Otherwise, no. And it's strictly no on any loans. If you are taking loans to buy any property in other than which you are living in, then it's strictly no from devotee point of view, based on our principle. Okay. So we'll talk more about that in a while. So let's move forward. So our first goal was retirement, right? We discussed that we need to make retirement. So we discussed how we can invest for that and create the corpus. So that thing is clear. So now let's little bit discuss about the life planning. I know that for most of us, it's not applicable. We miss the bus or we are late or something like that. But I still want to talk about it so that we can share it with others, or at least for our own kids, we can take care of this point so that they can have at least a meaningful and successful retired devotional life. So again, it goes to the same point about the planning, like best Vanprastha retired life you can have when you start planning from the Grahastha life. Before you enter the Grahastha life, if you start planning and you have the plan in place to how to enter in Vanprastha life, then that is the best. And simplest way to please Krishna is by doing the devotional service following the Varnashram. So Krishna mentioned that in Bhagavad Gita also, after all the discounts he has given in chapter 12, that okay, if you cannot do this, do this. If you cannot do this, do this. If you cannot do this, do this. Ultimately, it comes down to that, at least follow Varnashram Dharma, your duty as per Varnashram Dharma. So if at least that much you can do, then it will please me. So, and another point, as I mentioned, that we cannot remain idle during retirement. So once we retire, we have to have some engagement. So what that engagement is. So we need to focus on that during the Grahastha life, because you cannot have that engagement overnight. Okay, today I hang my boot and from tomorrow I will be engaged 8 hours a day into that other activity. It won't happen like that. And so it's again our responsibility in Grahastha life, 20-25 years, whatever we are spending here, to develop the taste in the service, in the spiritual process, limb of bhakti, which is more favorable or conducive for our own personal taste, and develop that, whether it's cooking, whether it's deity worship, whether it's book distribution, whether it's preaching, whether it's reading, whether it's chanting. And the most important is chanting. Like His Grace Anand Vrindavan Prabhu has inspired me so much on this particular point, that practical thing is that as you get older, you will not be able to do anything else except chanting. Chanting is the thing which you can do anywhere, anytime, even if your body does not allow, even if your fingers does not allow, you can do chanting just by your mouth. Even if your mouth does not move, you can do chanting in your mind. You can just remain focused and absorbed. So the more we practice that during our Grahastha life, the more easy for us it will be to transition into that mode. So if we just remain stick to 16 rounds per day during all our Grahastha life, then doing 64 when we enter Vanprastha or anything more than 16, it won't happen easily. It will be a lot of struggle. And similarly, if we have some other taste, then develop that taste, but slowly and slowly we have to gear towards how we can spend most of our time doing chanting, reading and hearing. Because these three things you can do even if your body does not support. Right? Because as we get older, someday or later it will happen that your body will not support book distribution, your body will not support cooking, your body will not support singing, your body will not support traveling for preaching. So at that time, then again, there is a chance of fall down. So, and again, the chanting is the most potent. Srila Prabhupada said that 99% of our spiritual advancement comes only from chanting. So the more taste we develop from chanting, the more it will be beneficial for our spiritual growth as well. Okay, so let's see that how we should do the life planning before we do the financial planning for retirement. So Shastra suggests that we should get married latest by age 25, because that's when our first ashram ends, and the second ashram, if you want to enter, that's enter. And then it can be even earlier for the girls, like girls don't need to wait till 25. And then take Vanprastha at the age 50. So that is the recommendation as per our scriptures. And so we should aim for that. And to have our Vanprastha at age 50, kids should born before our age 30. And biologically also it's beneficial, because the later the child are born, it's a scientific proven study that any Matajis who deliver child after age 30, they are more at risk to get breast cancer later. And so it's and again, like if they're born before age 30, then by you reach 50, they will be in college or out of college. So then you can easily move out of your home. Otherwise, it's not possible. By the time they are in school, you will be bound to remain in home till that time. And if somebody is not planning to have kids, then should not Grahastha ashram. They can remain as brahmachari. That is Srila Prabhupada's recommendation, that as a Grahastha, having children, begetting Krishna conscious children is also a duty of Grahastha. So just for material concerns and that I cannot afford and this reason, that reason, we should not delay that decision. If we should think about it before we enter into the Grahastha ashram, but not after. Because unnecessarily, then you will be delaying your entire process. And especially, we should perform Garbhadhan Sanskar if both are devotees, and beforehand, if we get this knowledge. Because I have come across few devotee families where they have followed this process very sincerely, and the kids which have born, that confirms to Shastra that they are the born devotee. They just came to finish their devotional life. They are starting from where they have left. Thus, just as the age of 3, 4, 5 years, they have got such a taste in devotional services. They are chanting shlokas. They are constantly absorbed in the Krishna conscious activities. And so you can make out and you can say that, yes, these kids are different. And why they are different? Because their parents have followed the processes as per Shastras. Like they did Garbhadhan Sanskar and followed all other injunctions. Another point is, if you have two kids, then planning should be such that they are 4 years apart, because that will help his college funding. Because when both kids are in college at the same time, you will be doubly burdened. But if they are 4 years apart, then by the time one kid out of the college, others will be entering that. So you have double advantage that you have to pay only for one kids at a time, and the elder kid can take care of or support the other kid just in case if you are not, because he would already be, or he or she would be already earning by that time the second kids go to college. So that is another point which we can keep in mind. And by the time we reach age 50, kids should be in college and working. So as I said, that if they're born before you are age 30, then that will automatically happen. And we need to get daughter Mary, son educated as per Srila Prabhupada's instruction. So in purport, he has clearly mentioned, especially in third canto, that getting daughter Mary is our responsibility as a parent. But for son, as soon as he is educated, he is on its own, then we should leave home. Like he quoted this in example of Gandharva Muni, where he left as soon as Kapil Dev took care of his mother, and then he left for Vanprastha, he left for forest. So he did not stay for son's marriage and let me get him settled, let me make sure that he had a stable job and this and that. So as soon as he got mature, he left. So now let's come to financial planning. So we have various sources to fund our final retirement in retirement age. So first option is social security, but as I said, you have to be US citizen for that. If not, then we cannot rely on it. So depending upon your individual circumstance, you can see whether you will qualify for it or not. Second, as we discussed, retirement accounts, that will be your main source of retirement income. We already discussed that minimum at least contribute 6%. Even if with a modest salary of 60,000, you can very easily make up to 1 million in 28 years. We already discussed company matching. We already discussed rollover if you change job. And as I said, you can contribute up to 19,000 if merit filing jointly. So you can always increase your contribution if you are less on that. You can take additional withdrawal from ETF IULs if you are building corpus on that from the beginning. So that corpus would be ready by the time you are nearing retirement. So you can take withdrawals from those. And last thing, you can roll over your IRA or EFT corpus to index annuity to protect against inflation and tax. So when you have the IRA, so this is especially for the people who are nearing retirement or in retirement. So if you have some money in your IRA account and if you withdraw, then it is taxable. But instead of withdrawing, if it roll it over to index annuity product, which is again sold by life insurance companies, then you don't have to pay tax. You can defer that tax, and then you can start withdrawing from index annuity instead from your IRA. So that is one way to optimize your tax outgo during the age of retirement. And last but not the least, think of retiring in India. It will be much less costlier and you can live in Dham. That is the most important thing. Because that is another thing to consider, that if we are born in India, then we are so fortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that everybody who is born in the land of India is so fortunate. And we came here negating that fortune and in this sinful country here. So again, like it's our time. When it's time, we can go back and take advantage of living in Dham. And again, it would be financially prudent to do that because cost of living in India is anyway much less than what it's in US. Okay, so I shared one sheet which is called retirement draw model. So what it represents, what it gives us illustration, let me share that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you didn't talk about medical insurance.
Yeah, that will come into insurance, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll cover that tomorrow. Yeah, so retirement draw model, what it does is that it gives you a figurative like illustration that how much you need to save and by how much corpus you can survive. So here in this, if you see, let's say you are age 50, current is 2020 year. The inflation in US is around 2%, we assumed. And let's say you have corpus of 920K. So that is the corpus which we discussed. You can easily build if you are in age 22, by the age of 60, you will have more than $1 million. But let's say it's 920K. And yearly expenses. So right now, yearly expenses for a couple who is living in US, who has their house paid off, then it won't be more than $1,500 to $2,000 per year if we live according to the principle of simple living, high thinking. So maximum expense would be around 1,500 to 2,000. That is count to around 18,000 to 20,000 per year. But taking into account the inflation, I have taken as $30,000 per year. And I have assumed the return on this investment is 4%. Very modest. Like in retirement, we won't be taking much risk. So we would be putting very less in equity and most in safe funds, bonds and fixed income. So our return may not be 7 to 10%, but still we can manage a return of 4% by having some allocation to equity, either through ETFs or through asset allocation, which we discussed, or through index annuity, because index annuity work at the same principle as IULs, which we discussed before. So they can give you indirect exposure to equity without taking too much risk. So if we do this, then if you can see here, that you will run out of your money at the age 94. So it starts, you get negative at the age 95. So it means you get an idea that if you have 920K at the age of 50, then you can retire. Then you can make a decision, yes, I want to retire. So like that, you can adjust your numbers here. And this gives you a target. So then this you put into that compound interest calculation sheet, and then you see based on current assets and 7% to 8% rate of return, how much I have to save so that by a certain age, by 50, 55, 60, 65, whatever age you are targeting, by that age, how much I will get. And then you put it again here. So let's say if your target is to retire by 65, then you don't need this much, because if by 65 you have 920K, then you can survive till 109 years. That is not needed. So then maybe you just need, maybe let's say 700K. So with 700K, you can survive till 94. See, it was spot on. Right? So like that, you can play around with this, so that it gives you very clear picture of where you are, where you want to go, how much you need, and how you need, so that you are not doing things in dark. Like you are not just shooting the stars in the dark. You know exactly what you are doing. You know exactly where you want to go, and you know exactly how you can do that.
Abu, this is if you want to retire in US, right?
Yes, similar is there for India. Did I share that with you?
Yes, Prabhu. And Prabhu, one other question, because I think if we, let's say instead of 50 years, if it's 60, 65 years, the cost will definitely change, right? Because 10 years from now, the cost of living will probably go up.
That I have taken into account. So if you take about today's cost is, it's, as I said, $1,500 to $2,000 per month. So my monthly expense would not be more than 22,000 as of today's cost. So if I am 65 and I am retiring today, then this is my calculation. So again, with this, I can go up to year 112, which I don't need. So maybe I just need 500K. I don't need 920K. So that was inflation adjusted figure, which I showed you. See, with 500K, you can go up to 94. Again, spot on.
Okay, what is that corpus expenses?
Corpus minus expense. So this is the corpus, this is the expense you are doing. Okay. So this is the net after 1 year you can have, because you will start withdrawing. So you will, this amount will keep on reducing year after year.
Right.
Right. And the thing is, as a devotee, we should not target to pass on huge inheritance, because put kaput to kyo dhan sanjay, put saput to kyo dhan sanjay. So that is the philosophy, right? Yeah. So if our kids are good, then there is no need to pass on the inheritance. They will make life themselves. And if we pass on this knowledge to them, then definitely they will be confident. They will be able to manage on their own. And if they are not good, then anyway, we don't want to have our money spoiled in that, as I said, the 3 destination of money, Nash, Bhog and Dhan. So if they are going to do Nash of it, then anyway, we don't want to pass it on to them. Better use it in your lifetime, get empty, pass it on to the charity, and leave this world with satisfaction that I did all this perfectly.
Yeah. And Prabhuji, how appreciation is calculated there? Corpus appreciation.
That is 4%, I assume. As I said, that on a safer side, which you can generate in retirement years. Not too great. Very conservative 4%. Right? Okay, so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
One quick question, like the calculation that you told is assuming that we already have home, right? Or we have paid off the home.
Yes, home is paid off. Yes.
But still we have to pay property tax. Like at least in California, you have to pay at least 15,000 per year for property tax.
If you are retired, why you need to live in California?
Just for service. There's no other reason we are here.
No, for service, then we will discuss. Like you downsize, you move to some place where you have to pay less, things like that. Because you have to make a decision where it is conducive overall. So,
I see.
Yeah. So if it is too expensive that it jeopardizes your retirement, then better to find service elsewhere where you can live comfortably.
Okay.
Okay, because we have to keep our primary goal clear, because service can be done anywhere. So just because of service, if you are slogging 8 hours a day, what is the point? You are anyway able to do 2 hours service. Rather go somewhere else and do 10 hours service. Right?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. So now let's move ahead. So I explained this already. So it is just I put it in figures here. So we don't go into great detail. And again, worst case scenario. For example, you have done nothing. Absolutely bankrupt kind of situation. But the S card you have in your hand is US citizenship. So then you are son-in-law of Uncle Sam. And what does it mean? That if you are a rich father-in-law, then son-in-laws never have any problems. So if you are a US citizen with age above 65, with no income, no liquid assets. No liquid asset means no bank balance, no 401k, no social security, anything like that. Absolutely nothing. Just maybe up to $2,000. That's the limit. $2,000 to $3,000. That's it. You can have your house. You can have your car. That is not counted. So if you have your house which is paid off, you have your car which has no loan, that is fine. But other than that, if you are kind of bankrupt, you don't have anything at all, and you are above 65, then US government come to your rescue. You can get supplementary social security income, which can be up to $1,200 for a couple. You can get food stamps, which could be up to $400 to $500 per couple. You can get assistance to pay utility bills, especially in winter and summer months. You can get housing assistance, subsidized housing apartments, where part of the rent is paid by government. And you can get medical premium assistance as well from the states. So these are the needs in retirement life. You need shelter, which is already there, assuming. You need car, which is already there, assuming. Then you need food. You need some income to do some other expenses. And that's it. So any senior devotees in community are living around who does not know about this, then please assist them. Please make them aware. Please educate them, because this is very crucial. I came across few devotees in my community who were not aware of this, and they were struggling, and they didn't know that these benefits are available from the government.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one question on this. That means the US citizens should be living in US, right? To get this benefit.
Yes, okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so this is especially applicable for those who are born in US, they don't want to go to India, or some brahmacharis who didn't have any income all their life, and now they are into last phase of their life and they are struggling financially. So, but they are US citizens, then they can make use of all these resources and no need to struggle or depend on anybody else.
Prabhu, what about, this is Prabhu Das, Dhanvat Pranam.
Dhanvat.
What about healthcare in this situation?
Yeah, as I said that you get medical premium assistance in this situation. So Medicare is like hospitalization is already covered without any cost to you. For any non-hospitalization expenses, then you can get assistance in this. And especially if you get SSI, which is, as I said, for couple $1,200, that is a good amount. You can pay premium for Medicare on your own from this money.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if the person is a US citizen and he retired in India, so will he get this benefit?
These benefits, I'm not sure. Social Security he will get for sure, based on his earned income. But these benefits, I'm not sure if we get, because you have to appear in the local county office to apply and eligible for these benefits. There will be an interview, background check, criminal check. Those things will be done, and then they will sanction all this.
Okay.
So I don't think these are applicable if you are in India.
Thanks.
Prabhuji, like, do you get, if you're US citizen, do you get like the social security benefits even if you go back to India or anywhere?
Yes. If you are citizen, then you will get.
But this will not apply if you are on a green card, right?
Yes, green card is not applicable.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I was reading somewhere if you pay 10 quarters of social security tax, you will get the benefits even though you are not a citizen. Is that right?
No, that is not correct. That 10 quarters is like 40 credits, what they call, is the eligibility to get social security even if you are a citizen or a not citizen. It doesn't matter. So unless and until you have 10 quarters, 40 credits to your what you call is your earned income, then you are not eligible for social security. So let's say you are a US citizen by birth and you did not earn at all in your entire life, then you won't get social security even if you are a citizen.
But if you are not a citizen, you will not get it even if you have credits.
Yeah, that is a basic eligibility, that unless you have 40 credits, you won't be eligible to receive social security.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
This is Pankaj. Prabhu, are we planning to discuss anything about 529? Does this have any place in this planning?
Yeah, we'll discuss college education for kids. That is next.
Okay. Okay. And one more question. So, sorry, one more question. You talked about the proportion to have the debt, equity, and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, for what about the assets we already have? Like, for example, if we have some property bought in India back, and now it doesn't fit into your 100 minus 60 for equity. Should we sell it off, or what exactly we need to do?
Yes. Recommendation is that sell it off. At appropriate time, sell it off, make it liquid.
Okay, but it incurs a lot of taxation, all things, right? I mean, you cannot.
See, that would be applicable any time, as I said, like at appropriate time, as soon as possible when it's favorable, make that decision. Because see, let me talk about property because it is coming again and again. So let's get it off our back. So see, the problem with property is, can you mute Prabhu? Yes, sir. Yeah. So problem with property is that it's a big chunk of money which you have to put to buy any property. So it means that most of your savings or investments till that time when you buy that property are plugged into that. Worst, if you buy it on loan, then most of your savings will go towards just that one particular property. Third, you cannot sell it in pieces. So it's a whole transaction. You buy it whole, you sell it whole. So like equity investment, we said I withdraw $10,000 per year, $2,000 per month. I cannot do that with property. It's whole thing you can transact, not piecemeal. Next, there is a lot of legal hassle in any property. There is a lot of paperwork. There is a lot of processes which you have to follow. Taxes, you have to keep paying taxes. You have to keep maintaining the property depending upon whether it's a land or a house or something. You have to keep maintaining it. You have to keep an eye on it. Then anxiety, because any property which you have, it will get some kind of anxiety sooner or later. Let's say you are in US, properties in India, you can't sell it easily. It's not that easy thing. You have to physically go there, do power of attorney, this, that. Then there are taxation rules for NRIs that you have to, there will be TDS at the source if you try to sell the property. And okay, even after all this, what are we doing for property? Why we invested in property? For return, right? Now calculate the return. I shared that CAGR formula with you. Put your numbers into that and see how much return you are getting in that. CAGR return. See, why we get fascinated by property is that we look at it at 20, 30 years, 40 years time frame. My father bought that plot for 5 lakh rupees. Now it is 50 lakh. In how many years? 30 years. So it 10 times. But if you calculate it in CAGR, what is the return? 8%, 7%. We don't look at that. Now look at the equity. I said that you put $6,000 per year for 28 years. So how much total you have invested? 174K. And how much you are getting? 1 million. More than 5 times. And you not put 174K in one shot. You put it over the year of 28 years, small amount every month. So you have to look things in right perspective, that ultimately what I am getting. I invested in property to get return, but at the end of the day, am I even getting the return or not? And in most cases, you will see that even returns are not that great. It won't cross 10% in most of the cases, unless and until you are very exceptional, good in spotting a property where it did wonders for you. But for most of the cases, it won't cross 10%. And especially in current scenario, because now it's not like 30, 40 years back when India was not, developed very, you will find the piece of lands and you will find the houses, which were not too many houses are getting constructed. It was not builder monopoly or something like builder are chasing the market and things like that. So at that time, it would have still make sense. But now, whatever you are going to benefit from property in next 10, 15 years, those builders or farmers have already accounted for that in their price. Let's say you buy any flat or apartment in some metro, then it's already accounted, the place appreciation, price appreciation, the location, all those factors are already taken into account. Versus you buy some land in a far away barren area, and then you hope that in 30 years time, there would be a city developed over there. There would be a highway coming over there. There would be a lot of development. And because of that, prices will overshoot. But that is not the case anymore. In Andhra, when this new state thing announced, bifurcation of state, overnight prices have increased because people knew that this is going to happen in next 10 years. So 10-year appreciation, they have already accounted today itself. And those who got into that mad rush, now they are repenting. Now with change of government, now their direction have changed, the location of capital have changed. And now prices have crashed by 30, 40%. And now those people are repenting. Why did we invest in that? So my humble advice that except living in the house in which you are living, don't go for any other property. Only exception is agricultural land, only if you are planning to use or doing cow protection. If those are the goals, then it is perfectly fine. And again, no buying on loan. Again, bottom line, no buying on loan. If you have enough by Krishna's mercy, and if you want to use that land in service of Krishna, then it's fine. Otherwise, no. Absolutely no.
Prabhu, second house, if you buy, we get fixed income of rent, right?
But again, Prabhu, there are so many headaches. I will tell you when we do the calculation of buying a home. Second, how much income you are getting and how much headache you are taking out of that income. You have to maintain the house, you have to pay the insurance of the house, you have to pay the taxes of the house, you have to find the agent, you have to find the rentee every 12 months, you have to keep maintaining, attending their calls.
There is a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of anxiety. Yeah.
So why do all of that? As a devotee, our goal is not that. When I was doing this presentation in corporate, I was recommending, okay, go ahead. If that is what you want to be around your head, who can stop you? But objective is totally different here, because as a devotee, our principle or our mentality should be to get all these things done without any headache and anxiety. We don't want to become rich, millionaire, billionaire. That is not our goal. Our goal is to live simple, comfortable life so that I can focus more and more on Krishna. I can focus more and more on my service, more and more on my sadhana. That is what we are here for. Not here to become a millionaire, billionaire and pass on the large inheritance to our children. That is not the goal. That is not the objective. We started off this session with very clear-cut objective. So this particular thing does not fit in that objective. And another philosophical aspect is there are many people in this world which are homeless. They don't have their own home. So the more we hoard, the people who can afford, they hoard more than one property. It means we are denying opportunities for those people to have their own home. So directly or indirectly, we are going to get karma for that. Why we are having more than one? Again, need versus want. It is against my need. It is my want. I want to get rich. I want to earn more money. I want to hold more money. That's why I'm going for another property as an investment. So I'm diverting from my principle. I'm getting into the want zone from the need zone. Right? So take that out of your mind. Property investment is, even from investment perspective, is not very good. As I said, that if you calculate the return, you will yourself find out that on your property, whatever you are holding, you are not even getting like 20-30% kind of return compounded. Again, look at compounded. Don't look at that it become 10 times. 10 times doesn't make anything in 30 years.
Prabhu, quick question on that. So like if I'm planning to retire in a dam,
right
now property in a dam also, it's quite expensive.
Yes.
So is it, what's your advice on that?
You need only one house to live at a time. You don't need two houses to live at a time. So if you are living in Dham, it means you are living your current house. If you are living your current house, sell that, buy another one in Dham.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. That helps.
Yeah, simple.
So one more question, Prabhu.
Yes.
So you said that, sell it off the property. So again, after selling, do you recommend that fund to be put into again this equity or
yes
things? Where
allocate it, because it is a lump sum, so you can't put it in one shot. So spread it over the years, depending upon how big it is.
Okay.
But at least you will be in total control. You don't have any loans to pay. You don't have any taxes to pay. You don't have any paperwork. You don't have any monitoring. You are in total control.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you suggest good equities like that we can actually invest, which can return some kind of a compounding?
I already covered that in previous session. Were you there?
No, Prabhu, I was not there.
Yeah, so you can watch that recording on YouTube, part 2. So in that we already covered that particular thing.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, going back to the social security, like if you plan to say retire in India, and then we are a citizen of US and we have that social security credits. What is that amount that we get, Prabhu?
Yeah, so you can calculate it on Social Security website based on your situation. But like let's say that same example, if you are earning 60,000 per year and you earn for 27 years, then you get $1,500 to $1,700 in today's dollar term. So for example, I back tested it, that somebody born 30 years back and he started earning 65,000. Then today, if he's planning to retire at 50, then age 62, how much it will get? So it will be around $1,600. So then again, it fits into our bill that current expense is $1,600. Now, if somebody is 22 years old today and he start earning 60,000 per year and he retired at 50 and start getting Social Security at 62, he will get $5,500 inflation adjusted. So if somebody having a moderate income of $60,000 entire his life for 28 years, then he don't have to worry about anything. Social Security itself will take care of his retirement.
And it is irrespective of any properties that you have or anything, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji,
So
can you? Sorry. Can you share that YouTube link, Prabhuji? Even I missed the previous session. Just
yes, yeah. Prabhuji will post in chat. You can refer to. It's on ISKCON Chicago YouTube channel, so you can easily find it.
I am posting it right now, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
What is your opinion about investing in REITs?
Investing in what? REITs. Okay, REITs. Yeah. So again, it's a indirect way of taking exposure into equity. But again, in REITs, there are various options are there. So some may be generic, some may be commercial property REITs, some may be health and medical REITs, some may be residential apartment complex REITs. So again, that you have to research which one it is, because for example, commercial REITs was kind of, oh, great thing. Come COVID, worst thing. That commercial REITs have collapsed because of COVID. Because
they're very nice REITs where you get 10, 15%.
Yeah, and they are high on yield because especially apartment REITs or health and medical REITs. Because they can give steady dividends to you because they get the rental income, and health and medical and apartment. These two are kind of going to remain no matter what, because people need house, people need medical facilities, people need hospitals. So these two will kind of remain in business. They will not go out of business, and they will get steady rental income and property appreciation. So REITs which are focused on those, you can take some exposure to that. But again, you have to research it well, which ones are good enough fit that criteria. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Regarding the retirement draw model that you put it in Excel,
yes,
that 750, I mean, corpus amount is that corpus amount to be calculated as all the assets that will end up in that age?
Yes, all the assets.
And again, the expenses you put it is for like considering like one person or family, like couple?
Two, couple. Assuming children are independent by that age.
Okay. Yes, that sounds like big numbers we need to achieve by retirement.
You can, I told you, $1 million can be achieved just by $6,000 per year. Again, it depends when you start. If you started late, then yes. But again, then you have to adjust accordingly. Consider India. In India, if you retire in 2 crore rupees, that is about how much? 300K?
Yeah.
You can retire comfortably. Yeah, you can retire comfortably. So whatever, even if you have one house here, don't take anything into account. Just sell that house, go back to India, retire in Dham. Peaceful life, Majani life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that corpus amount you put in there, is there any calculator we decide that how much we need to put every month to be reaching that level?
Yeah, I discussed that in previous, so that compound interest calculation sheet which I shared on email, you can refer to that.
Oh yeah. Okay,
so you can put your numbers and then come up with that number.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
If we already missed the boat and we are probably say late 40s, we haven't covered the ground. So do you have any strategies? Are you going to cover some other sessions?
No, strategy is the same, Prabhu. You just have to do the catch-up act or reduce your expectation accordingly. Like change your life situation, reduce your house size, change your location. Like try to fit yourself into where what you can get comfortably. Because as I said, retiring in US is not the goal. Doing service and focusing on Krishna is the goal. So wherever we can do within whatever money we have, we can do that.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll try to move ahead, and because there is a lot to cover for this session. So next we will cover buying a home. So how should we go about buying a home? Because around more than 50% devotees in this survey mentioned that they are living in rented. So just to give me an idea, like, can you just give a thumbs up if you are in rented right now, so that I get to know that how many people are in rented, so that this will make sense for them. If you can turn on your video and put a quick thumbs up if you are in rented. Quickly, we have 47 people. So if I can get some good numbers, so accordingly I will focus. Okay, so yeah, I see a few thumbs up already. Yeah, okay. So let's focus. Let's dive into it. So if we plan to remain in US for a considerable time, then and if it is our goal to have a house, like buy a house. So again, I'm telling this that in US it makes sense. If you are in India, then I won't suggest buying a house on loan. In US, I'm suggesting it and I will tell you reasons why. Because it makes financial sense. So in US, the rental yield is 5 to 6% and loan rate currently is around 2.5%. So there is a difference of 2.5 to 3%. What it means is that we can take advantage of it to retire early. Again, retire early. We are buying home for sense gratification. We are not buying home to please ourselves. We are buying home because it makes financial sense. It helps me to retire early. Okay. So I will show you with real numbers how. So one thing is that we don't want to build house every generation. So first thing first, we should try to live with our parents' home if possible, or let our children live with us as far as possible. Now I know that being in US, we have our ancestral home in India, and we have to build another home here. But again, this is the choice which we have made. So we have to live with it. But otherwise, it is not needed. Every generation does not need to own a separate home because a home lasts more than one generation. Okay. I tell you my own example that I started creating wealth after I moved to my hometown. Like till 2005, I was working in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, all these metropolitan cities. And in 2005, I got an opportunity to move to my hometown. And my hometown, Indore, MP, is a very small town compared to metros. And there was not many IT opportunities. There was only one company at that time. And in that, I got a job almost at the same salary. I didn't get any hike or anything. But still, I moved because that makes perfect sense to build wealth over a period of time. Because living outside of home, away from my parents, I was spending double on everything: travel, communication, bills, rent, this, that, which is of no use. Once I moved to my hometown, I started living with my parents. I started saving huge because then all these extra expenses became zero. So we don't want to build home for each generation. So keep that in mind. As long as you can make use of your previous generation home, make use of it. And we don't want to pay, like, work hard to pay landlord and all. If you work in the metros, even if in India, I would say that people who are working in Pune, Bangalore, or away from their home city, what they are doing, they are earning 5-10 lakh rupees more, but they are almost paying all of that to banks, landlords, transportation, communication, things like that. So what is the point? You are doing all the Ugra Karma, all the hard work, and paying to all these people. It's not even adding to your wealth. It's not even adding to your retirement. Nothing. It's total waste of money you are earning and you are giving it away. So better to find a job in your home city if you can. That is the best option. If not, then you can go for a home. And specifically, let's talk about US. Now, 52% Americans nowadays are living with their parents for the first time in the US history. That was the recent survey which has come out. Greatest since 1929. So they are also coming to senses that living with your parents makes sense. Financially, it makes a lot of sense. Relationship-wise also, it makes a lot of sense. As a family bonding also, it makes a lot of sense. So with that, let's dive into, again, principles. What principles we have to consider when we go for buying a home? So again, we need to separate between needs versus want very clearly. Please look at each the point. It is a need because, as I said, we need a shelter to stay. We cannot live on road. So that is a need. As I said, it makes financial sense to own home. So we are going to buy a home only because it helps me to retire early. As I covered already, because low home loan rates and high rental yield. And if this one decision is taken right, it can make or break your lifetime finances. And we will see it how. It can fund your retirement, it can fund your kids' education, everything this one decision can fund if you take it right. As I said, try to live with your parents. No need to have separate home for each generation. And don't think of buying unless you have 20% down payment saved as cash. That is another piece of advice. Don't just go for 5%, 2% down payment and go for loan for the rest of the amount. At least save 20% before you go for purchasing a home. And last but not the least, old house of the same size are 20 to 30% cheaper than new construction house. So again, as Indian, it's our mentality to go for the brand new one. But it doesn't make financial sense. The same size, same location house, you compare side by side an old house versus a brand new construction house, there is a cost difference of 20 to 30%. So why not save on that? Why spend unnecessary on a brand new house? Except sense gratification, it's not going to give you anything else. And then find a house with similar size as your rented. Upgrade. We want to upgrade ourselves to Golok Vrindavan, not from 2-bedroom apartment to a 5-bedroom independent house. So if you consider the house of the same size in which you are living, because rented apartment, whatever 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom you are living there, right? It's comfortable, right? There is no problem, right? So when we try to purchase the home, why we want to go for adding extra bedrooms? We will say that, oh, kids can share the bedroom. They are sharing now. They can share later also. And that would be good for them for future. When they go to college, they will share the dorm with others. When they are working in some other city, not living with you, they probably have to share the room with others or apartment with others. Otherwise, it will not be financially viable for them. So anyway, they have to do it. So make them prepare. In your own house, if siblings are shared bedroom, or there is no problem with that. Then other argument may come that we need, once we have our own house, we want to serve devotees, so that we need extra room, we need bigger house. So I am not aware of even a single devotee or a single Guru Maharaj or Sannyasi in ISKCON who will come to your home looking at the size of your home. They will come looking at your love. So if you are ready to serve, size of the house does not matter. I know example of my own Guru Maharaj, like he lived with 5-6 members of his travel team in a 2-bedroom apartment with devotees without any fuss. So again, that is just to satisfy ourselves that we need bigger house so that we can serve devotees. For that purpose, townhomes works the best. Townhomes are the homes which have one shared wall, at least one shared wall. In India, it's a luxury to have separate independent house. My house is sandwiched between 2 houses. Both the walls are shared. And that may be the case with most of you if you are living in city or metro. So what is the problem? Once we come to US, looking at everybody else, why we want to have a single independent house? What that fence is giving you, extra fence is giving you? Nothing. But you are spending a lot. Another argument we can hear that we cannot do kirtan or we cannot have large gatherings if we have a small town. So you can find a corner house. You can find a one wall shared townhome, and that will give you some leeway. And if you are sincere, as I said in the beginning, that I will share my own personal example, Krishna has helped me a lot in this process, because I was very clear that if I want to buy a house, then I'm not going to compromise on any of these points. And I started off my search based on that. And then Krishna helped at every step. I found the perfect townhouse with meeting all these criteria. One wall is not shared, another wall has a garage, so that, and then another person who is sharing the wall with me, he has his garage. So there is enough space between the 2 houses. I do kirtan, I play mradanga, I play kartal, I blow conch shell. No complaint from anybody. So 1 or 2 less rooms can fund college education for kids. So those who are having concern that how will I fund my kids' college education, if you take this decision right, like instead of buying a single independent house, if you buy a townhouse with 1 2 less bedrooms, then you can fund your kids' education. So let's see how that. And then do proper rent versus buy analysis. So if you fill all these criteria, then you will definitely pass the rent versus buy analysis. Now, what is that rent versus buy analysis? If you continue buying or living on rent, whether you can, how soon you can break even. So when you living on rent, you are paying rent, that is your only expense, no other expense. But when you buy house, you will have expenses like you will pay interest on mortgage, you will pay homeowner insurance, you will pay property tax, and then you will pay HOA fees like house owner association fees. So these are the extra expenses you will incur. And then when you try to sell your house, then you have to pay, worst case scenario, 6% agent fee. So these are your expenses of owning a house. Now put that number side by side. I shared that rent versus buy spreadsheet, so you can go through it later. So in that, I have put those numbers side by side. How much you are saving by rent, you put your numbers, and how much expenses you can have on a prospective home which you are trying to buy. So put real numbers for that particular house and go for property which break you even in less than 3 years. If any property which is breaking you even in more than 3 years, don't go for it. Find some other cheaper alternative. The advantage of going for property which break you even in less than 3 years is that even if after 3 years, let's say you have to move out, you have to go back to India, you are uncertain, you have to sell that house, then you already saved enough that even if you sell at the same cost in which you bought after 3 years, you won't be making any losses. And if you are in that position, then no anxiety, no tension, no heartburn, no grudge, nothing. Very happily, blissfully, you can sell your house and go back to India. That I did not lose anything. I still make money. If property appreciate, that bonus. So with that in mind, if we buy the house, then complete peace of mind, no stress, no anxiety, and it saves you money over a long time. So now let's look at that by numbers. Now those who have already owned a house, and if it is bigger, then you can consider downsizing. That is advice. You can consider downsizing even now, or especially once your kids go to college. I see many devotees who are living in same house even after their kids have moved out. Husband, wife living in a 4 or 5 bedroom house. What is the use?
Prabhuji, but like, at least I would say last 2012 to now, the appreciation happened a lot, and especially some IT cities. I'm not saying all the cities, but IT cities, appreciation happens, and that they literally who are owned, they earn double the money in this as a renting. But that could be a kind of income, or what do you appreciation of?
So here I am talking only about the single house in which you want to live. I'm not talking about investment.
Okay.
So investment we already discussed and ruled out for various reasons just few minutes before.
Yes.
So here I'm talking about the people who are living in rented house and they want to buy their own home. So how they fulfill this goal. That's what we are discussing here.
Okay.
Yeah. And as I said that if you are already in bigger house, you can free up some money by downsizing. Maybe if you are at right age, right situation, downsize, sell, Hari Bol, Mayapur Jindabad, Vrindavan Jindabad.
There is always a pressure from the family to increase the size of the house when you are in a smaller house. How to beat that?
See, either take pressure of Krishna or take pressure of family members. You choose which pressure you want.
Rent a bigger house, Prabhu?
See, you have to show them practical aspect of it, right? And let's the next section. If you explain them next section, they will not resist because it makes perfect financial sense. So let's dive into that. What you are losing by buying a bigger house. So here is the real life case study, real numbers. I have not made up anything. This is based on my city, but that can be applicable for any city across the US. So let's say you buy a 4 or 5 bedroom single family home that in my city, I'm taking all these numbers. You can put your own city's number and calculate. So 450K is average price. Let's say you take 30-year loan. As I said, 20% down payment is must. So you will put 90K as down payment. Then you will pay $169,000 as interest, assuming 2.75% interest in 30-year loan. This much interest you will pay over 30 years. And then you will get the 1469 as per month mortgage cost, per month cost. Consider side by side 3-bedroom townhouse. Average price is 270K on a 30-year loan, 54K down payment because you are paying 270, 20% of 270. 101K total interest cost. From 169K come down to 101K. And mortgage is just 882 per month. This is not the end. Now you are trying to buy this house. Now you shift your decision to buy this house. So how much you saved every month? 1469 minus 882, $587 per month. So you prepay this every month to your loan. Like you can prepay your loan, right? So you can pay extra principal. So you pay this extra principal 587 to this your townhouse home loan. So your total interest cost reduced to just 47,000. So another $50,000 saving. From 101K, it come down to $47,000. It's not the end. Total loan tenure reduced to 15 years. From 30-year loan, you paid off your loan just in 15 years. Again, this is not the end. So you own a home in half the time with total savings of 158K, including down payment, interest cost, and everything else. If you take 15-year loan initially, instead of taking a 30-year loan on this house, then your mortgage would be somewhere around 1469 on the same range. So you don't have to make any prepayment. And then that 15-year loan, you can even pay off earlier if you can manage to pay more prepayment based on your savings. Or even if you don't do anything, at least you will get 0.25% less interest on a 15-year loan versus 30-year loan. So from that itself, you will save more. So 36K saved on down payment here, 90K versus 54K. If you put that into savings, just like we discussed in equity instruments, then let's say your kids are 3-4 years old when you buy a house. By the time they get 18, if you put this 36K, you don't have to do anything for their college. It's problem solved. I told you that by one less bedroom can fund your college education need of your kids. So easy.
Prabhuji, but townhouse has HOA and Prabhuji that is around, it's around 300 to 400 or 500 based on the place.
Yes. So that cost is same. I will come to that next slide. So just hold on. So this is not the end of savings. Okay. So now go further. That was the cost at the time of buying the home, initial cost. And I didn't take out the closing cost. On a single family home closing cost versus townhome closing cost, you will save another $4,000-5,000 one time. Because you have less loan amount, you have less closing charges, attorney fees, and things like that. So you will save even further $3,000 to $4,000 easily in closing cost compared to 2 homes. So now let's look at recurring cost. So in a 4 or 5 bedroom house, you will pay $4,500 as property tax because home is worth more. You will pay $3,000 in HOA plus insurance. You will pay $1,800 extra utility because it's a bigger house. So it takes more to cool and heat. So you will pay easily $1,800 extra over a year in utilities. Then since it's an independent house, you don't share any boundaries. It's more risky. You will pay private security, ring, ADT, whatever, minimum $500 per year. And then you will pay easily $2,000 per year in lawn, gutter, paste, power wash, roof, fence, exterior maintenance, all these overheads which comes with single family home. Now, in a townhouse, you pay less property tax and then you pay more HOA plus insurance as compared to single, just to answer the Prabhuji which was just saying. But it get compensated easily because you are not responsible for any of this. All this is taken care of by HOA. So you won't pay anything on any of this. You don't pay anything for lawn maintenance. You don't pay anything for gutter cleaning, paste control, power washing, roof maintenance, fencing, any exterior wall, siding, windows maintenance, all those are covered by HOA insurance. So you don't have to pay any of these expenses or any headache or time to get all these things done, because these are all yearly tasks. You have to get it done, and it's a headache. And water is also covered by HOA. So in single family home, you will easily get $40 to $50 water bill minimum, but that is also covered in HOA, because in townhomes generally they have shared water line, not independent water line. So water charges are covered by HOA. So you get one less utility bill. And since it is a townhome, it's more secure. You may not need independent security, private security. So this translates into extra saving of 5,800 per year. Now you prepay, again put this to prepay. Then you get extra saving of 15K on interest, and tenure reduced to just 10.5 years. So from 30 years, we have come down to just 10.5 years, 1/3. And I did not account for any extra furniture, home decor, cleaning and maintenance cost. The more bedrooms you have, the more size you have, the more cleaning, more decoration, more furniture, more this, that. So I did not account any of those. So you can get even more saving.
Prabhuji, I have a question here.
Yeah, just a minute, Prabhuji. Let me complete this and we can have questions. Just one last point. So, and less time in maintaining big house means more time for sadhana. So ultimately, any house you have to maintain in terms of cleaning, in terms of housekeeping and things like that. The less space you have, the less you have to spend time on it. So these are all the benefits of having an informed and proper decision, so that you can save as well as fulfill the goal of having a house without compromising basic comfort. So again, I will, yes, Prabhu, let me complete this couple of slides and then we'll take the questions on home. Okay, just hold on for 5 minutes. And so as I already told, just by not doing anything extra, you can pay off your loan in 10 years, maybe less if you start off with a 15-year loan. And what are the benefits of paying off loan? So if you go this route, then I'm sure that you can pay off your loan in 5 to 7 years, 7 to 8 years maximum. So why we want to pay off our loan? Because it improves our monthly cash flow. As soon as your loan is paid off, you don't have any rent to pay. So immediately you have 1,500, 1,300, whatever where extra money as a cash flow, which you can use for any other purpose. No anxiety, because no bill to pay to stay for housing. Then you can really think of taking retirement, because as long as you are paying installment for living, how can you think about retirement? You have a place to stay, and for that place to stay, if you are paying regular monthly installment, it means you have to have regular monthly income. It means you have to keep working, keep working, keep working. So we came to US, we spent a few years understanding. Then we thought that, okay, we can live in US. Then we end up taking single house, single family home. And then we bound ourselves for the rest of our life. 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. So just see. And then if you pay off your loan, then entire home has 100% equity. So you can use it for a variety of purposes in emergency or anything. And if planning to move to temple, let's say in your Varnashram time, then you can sell this home and donate part of it to temple or keep for your family maintenance. So this home can come handy in your retirement, even if you don't have any retirement planning, even if you don't have any corpus, even if you don't have equity investment. If this one decision you take right, then this home itself can become your asset in retirement. And then you can decide a place, either go back to India or move to temple with your money. As I said in the beginning, that you don't want to be a burden on the temple. You go to temple and you say that, hey, I sold my house. I want to dedicate myself completely to the service. And here is what I have got. I am offering. So now let's discuss how to go about taking a home loan. So as I said, minimum 20% you should contribute from your own pocket before going for loan. The reason is that if you pay less than 20%, then you get more interest rate, like Underwriting will be tough because you're not putting enough from your side. Second, you have to pay insurance charges because bank is taking more risk, so they will ask you to pay insurance. So that will put more extra burden on you. And you will not have any home equity to start with. If you start with a 5%, then that is hardly any equity in your home. So if any emergency or any problem is there, then you cannot rely on anything. If you have 20% to start with, within a year or so, you will build 30-35% equity in your home, which you can use if needed. Then compare rates for all the loan options with cost, actual cost. Don't just rely on the interest number because closing cost can add up and can cost you a lot. So look at the full picture, not just part. Then in loan, what they share, what is called is a cost disclosure document. So compare that cost disclosure document side by side from various lenders. Don't just rely on plain numbers given in email or something. Ask them, give me cost disclosure document. And this is a standard document with standard fields. So you can do apple to apple comparison, keeping them side by side. Then you can consider new age fintech companies like better.com for no cost loan. They don't charge any application fee, any underwriting fee, any processing fee, or anything like that. And they're guaranteed to offer the best rate. And if they cannot meet the rate, they will offer $100,000 extra as a credit to you. And they will meet the rate of the competitor. So shop around, get the best rate. If you don't get the cheapest rate from them, try to find out the cheaper than them and then try to match with them and take extra $1,000. Then refinance now if you are already a homeowner. Then if you're not done the refinancing already and paying higher interest rate, so take advantage because rates are already very low. So you can take advantage of that. Some tips on buying, that be firm on location, size, and features. This will help you to narrow down. Don't just search all over the place. Be firm on these 3 parameters, so that will allow you to focus. Like I want a townhouse, I want this and this size, this and this price point, and in this location. So if you do that, then you will narrow down and that will help you in search better. You can consider direct owner listing. Don't rule out them. Sometimes you can get a good bargain in direct owner listing. And don't just rely on agent blindly. Do your homework. Compare the locality, compare the, in public domain, lot of information is available on county websites, property tax websites and things like that. So you can look at all that information. How is the prices of nearby homes? How the prices of the homes which has sold recently? How the prices have appreciated or depreciated over the years? So all that things you can research on your own as well. And then you can be aggressive on pricing and making offers. Don't just be conservative because many times agent will tell that based on the data, the homes are selling at 98%, 99% of the listing price. So if we offer less, then it would be very offensive or it may not go. That's fine. If we don't get it, we don't get it, but we won't compromise with our budget or with our whatever we decided to give for. So in my case, my house was listed for 277K. And based on my analysis, I found that it's not worth more than 255K. So from 277 to 255, and average days the home remained in that market at that time was 15 days. Like any new home listed, it was sold out in 15 days. And the average price was 99% of the listing price. So those were the parameters. And my agent told that offer 275 because just little bit less because market is so tight. But we were 2 devotees, friend, like me and my friend, we were buying together and we were buying old house, 20-year-old house in the same locality, same neighborhood, which has only 50 houses. And out of those 50 houses, Krishna given us 2 houses, similar, same size, same everything. And this was our desire that we want to buy together because last 8 years we have been living together front to each other in apartment communities. So it was our desire that it will help our sadhana, it will help our bhakti if we are nearby. So with that desire we started. So in an old community with an old house, finding 2 houses similar it was very difficult. And we searched for 2 months, but we didn't bow down on that particular principle. We keep doing our hard work, we keep doing search. And then ultimately that 277K listed house, I got it for 262. And I waited 48 days in negotiation. And that was a hard market, but did not get any other buyer. After 48 days, the owner relented and he sold to me for 262. All by Krishna's mercy. And it come to that point that my current apartment was owner apartment, like it was not an apartment community. I took it from individual landlord. So he asked me to vacate it. I was supposed to move out from that house on June 30th, because that was already a done deal. And this house, I got signed my paper on 6/28, that was Friday. So right on the date. If this would not have happened, I would have been out of house after that weekend. But somehow I kept faith in Krishna, that if this is the thing, he will make it happen. And I was only praying that I don't need this house for anything else. If it allows me to serve you better, if it allows me to grow in my bhakti, then get me this. If not, then I'm prepared for anything. So that was the consciousness I was keeping all along. And then I had full faith that if it need to happen, then he will make it happen. But I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to buy a higher price house, or I'm not going to pay more for this particular house than what it really deserves. So that happened. Krishna made that happen. Krishna helped. So that's just I wanted to share my personal realization and experience which I had. Another point, if you go for buying old house, even for new house, it's applicable that get home inspection done and proper due diligence done. So because if there are any issues or any problems which can be found out early before you sign the contract, that would be better. And then at the time of selling, then you can consider direct buyers like offer paid, open doors, Zillow, Home Light. Now there are several direct buyers are available who offer you cash and close very quickly. No listing, no showing, no agent commission, no nothing. You just sell to them directly and you save 6% upfront. They may offer you a little bit lower than the market price, but you are saving all the hassles, all the anxiety, and saving 6% upfront anyway. So it makes sense. And even if you have to list, then there is again another fintech, Redfin, which provide 1 to 1.5% listing charges instead of 6%. So you can take advantage of that. So with this, so if you do proper rent versus buy analysis and follow these particular points, then I'm sure that you can have a house without any anxiety, and you can comfortably enjoy and serve and nicely progress in your bhakti and take care of all your financial goals, because this one thing can take care of both your retirement and child's education, as I mentioned. So any questions on how we can take?
Yes, Prabhuji. In both the slides, you mentioned that it's better to, you have used paying off the extra cash that you got by buying a smaller house. You used to repay the loan. So my question is, until we have a loan, should we our main aim is to repay the loan rather than investing it somewhere else?
No. So
should that be the strategy?
Yeah. So strategy is always to pay off loan. Ideal goal is to live debt free, because again in 11th canto it's mentioned that devotee should not beg, borrow, steal. Borrow is not allowed, like not recommended for devotees. And having debt is unnecessary anxiety, as I said. That paying off loan gives so much advantages. We discuss. I have put various points for that. So paying off loan is always a better decision in no matter what. Plan to live debt free. That's the biggest I would say the blessing as far as personal finance is concerned.
Even compared to the previous session of equity investment.
Yes.
First pay off the loan, and if you have more, then you can.
Yeah, then you do. Yeah. Because I don't recommend even buying on loan. Even house if you have to buying on loan is not recommended. Only it is making financial sense if you take all these factors into account, then only you go for buying loan. If you go for single family house, then it's not recommended. Because then it will take 7-8 years to break even. And then you don't know what's going to happen in 7-8 years. And especially with people like who don't have any visibility. Anything can happen anytime. Visa is not certain. Immigration is not certain. Job is not certain. So what you will do with single family home? Right? So that's why it's very, very important. It makes sense only if we follow all these things, then financially it is making sense. It is helping me to retire early. It will helping me to live peaceful. Even if I live in this house for 3 years, I can save $10,000-15,000 extra, and I can have a peace of mind. Don't need to change every year. Don't need to renew lease, this, that, and I can have peaceful, comfortable stay. And then I can focus more on sadhana and chanting and serving rather than worrying about where to live, how to live. That's why it makes sense. Otherwise, taking loan does not make sense in any case.
Thank you, Prabhu. That is clear. Thank you.
What is this cost disclosure document and to the bank in India provided?
No, not in India. This all we are talking about for US, not for India.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Please accept my humble obeisances. I'm so
Hare
glad
Krishna.
that you are having this class, Prabhu, and I'm also especially glad because I'm also from Indore.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
I'm so happy to hear from you. It's very insightful, very thoroughly researched, and very well presented. Prabhu, my question is related to what is the relationship between income and the amount, the percent that should be going to the cost of the expenses on the house.
So as per personal finance, like in standard terms, they say maximum threshold is 30%. You should not spend more than 30% of your income on housing. Then you can have a meaningful financial life. If you spend more than 30% of your income on housing, it means you are compromising somewhere else to fulfill your other goals like retirement and others. So our target should be even less than that. Because 30 is
includes everything like HOA.
Everything
is excluded.
No, everything. Total cost of living in a home should be 30% of your income. Yeah. Including property tax, insurance, HOA, everything.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have a quick
Yes,
question. So
Yes,
regarding
Prabhu.
the house, for the existing house,
Yes,
and suppose you mentioned that it's better to always pay off the loans,
Right.
and then nullify. So there is always a basically conflict between whether we should pay off the loan or let's say we have 50,000, right?
Mhm.
And then put it to pay off the loan or use that money maybe in some like equity or something like that to get more returns. So what do you suggest? Like what should be our...
Yeah, as I said, paying off loan always a better decision. Because anyway, your property is appreciating. So if you put money, then you are saving at least 2.5%, 3%, whatever you are paying on loan, that you are saving straight away. And on top of that, sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but so yeah, we are saving. So most of the time we think that we at the loan by paying off, we might be saving only 2% or 3% with the rate of interest. But what if we put it in the plan you are describing, like equity or some
yeah. So only in case where you have a reasonable house where you can continue to pay loan and ready to pay off that loan in next say 5-7 years, maximum 10 years. Then it is fine. But if you have a home in which you are continue to pay mortgage for next 20-25 years, then better to reduce that time frame first.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, if we have a cash and buying the house, is it advisable to put more down payment? Because some of the, I'm hearing that if the market crashes, then you can always vacate the house and you will not lose a lot of money if you don't put too much down payment.
No, Prabhu. We are taking house to live. Even if market crash, are we going to live on street? We are still going to live in house. So the more you can put, the better. 20% is the minimum I talked about. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Saying that 30% of income should go maximum of home. Is it including the our grocery and other ones, or
no. Housing cost. Housing cost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My question is, if there's only one bread earner in the house, right? Sometimes we see maybe if we invest in real estate, that will create some income in case of an emergency or something like that, right?
We will talk about emergency and insurance, so we don't have to rely on this anxiety-driven solutions for that. We will have a very peaceful, zero anxiety solution to cover all this thing tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, there are 2 questions from the YouTube which are posted on the chat box.
Okay.
Should I read them out or?
Yes, Prabhu, if you can.
Yes, so there's a question from Satish Bhatnagar. It says, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, now we own a single family home. Do you recommend to pay off the mortgage as soon as possible or invest in equity with higher returns?
Yeah, I just answered that if you have large loan, then try to reduce that loan to a level that you can pay off that loan, let's say in next 5-7 years, maximum 10 years. But if your loan amount is already such that you will pay off anyway in 5-10 years, then you can start putting extra into equity investment, which we discussed.
Okay.
And the best thing would be if it makes sense, try to downsize.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Another question from Satish Bhatnagarji. He said, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, now that interest rates are 0%, do you recommend still bonds?
Yeah, bond is only for asset allocation. I'm not saying that we invest in bond overboard. Based on asset allocation, we invest in bond. And though interest rate are 0, it doesn't mean that bond will return 0. Because bond market works in a different way. It's not like a fixed deposit kind of thing. So bonds will still offer returns, not 0 return. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope Satish Patnagar, if you're listening on YouTube, you got your answers. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I was paying prepayment for my home loan quite recently before the COVID started. So after that, my brother and my family members were very skeptical what's going to happen. So they asked me not to make the prepayment and stop doing that for some more time. So I have some corpus, but I am not investing it in there because of the COVID situation. If I have to suddenly go back, I'll have a liquid cash before I can wind up. What do you suggest now, Prabhu?
Yeah, so keep liquid, as I said, that emergency kind of thing. So even if you have to wind up, how much money you need for winding up? So keep only that much, not more than that.
Okay.
Right?
If I have extra, I should pay it off.
Yes, because emergency, we are just talking about loss of temporary income, right? We are not talking about permanent loss of income. That we will cover tomorrow in insurance. Because if it's permanent loss of income, we don't want to pay for ourselves. We will use insurance company to pay for that. We just want to cover the temporary loss of income.
What is that? We use insurance company to pay for that. I didn't understand that, Prabhu.
We'll discuss later. Permanent loss of income due to death. That is the biggest emergency.
Okay.
So this is temporary thing you are talking about. You lose job, it's a temporary thing. It's not permanent thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can make use of emergency case. That's what we discussed. 3 to 6 months expense. That will come handy in such situations. So why do you want to do more? Just in fear. Something which is not realized, something which is not happened. We are just because of that we are ruining our present. So planning is there. 6 months, 3 months, 6 months expense is already there in emergency cash account. Why I need to do extra? If any emergency come, I will use that and move forward.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The sheet that you sent, in the email, budget 2020. So I filled up and it's matching to the T to my expenses, my income.
Okay.
So now, what is to be done with this now?
Yeah, so we now we have to look at it and see based on the need versus want. So you take each and everything and see where you can cut the corners. And especially one of the devotees, I'm very impressed that one devotee, based on last session, he took out the statements of last 6 months and line by line, he has marked whether it is need, want, need, want, need, want, need, want. He has done such a thorough job. And then he shared with me that, Prabhu, that this is how I bifurcated and this is how I am able to find out which are my wants. And these are the extra expenses which I can cut out. So do that as a first pass, and then as a second pass, then we can review it together if you wish. And then tomorrow I will share a lot of cost saving tips. So based on that, you will able to cut even more.
Okay.
On necessary expenses also. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I have one more thing to cover. Can we go ahead about car buying?
Yes.
One question on the housing, Prabhu.
Yes.
Like if our employer is giving RSUs and they vest. So the vested stock also, do you recommend sell them and pay up your primary mortgage where you are living?
Yeah, it depends the prospect of that company and how much you expect that vested stock to appreciate in time. But it's an individual stock, so there is always a risk. So if you got some extra money, I would suggest that you pay off the loan. Yeah. Okay, we can move ahead. Okay, so the next thing again is car. In US, public transport is not so good in many cities. So again, it's a need. But how do we fulfill that need? That makes a lot of difference. So again, going by same principle, I will present a case study of a new car versus old car, and you will see for yourself that how this one decision also can make a lot of difference. So I'm talking a very modest new Toyota Camry car, which is Indians' favorite. Not talking about Mercedes, van, or BMW, Audi, or anything like that. So very conservative, very modest Toyota Camry. If you buy brand new, it's 30K normally. And let's say you take loan, you don't have 30K cash. So 5-year loan at 3%, it will cost you 3150. Then you will pay taxes, brand new car, higher taxes, brand new car, higher insurance. Consider 5-year-old Toyota Camry. Cost 15K, loan amount half, interest is half, tax is half, insurance is half, but maybe little bit maintenance. Overall, you are saving 19K in 5 years. That is 316 per month. If you invest this amount regularly, it will become 24K in 5 years and much more in 15-20 years. Never buy any depreciating asset brand new. That is the rule. As a devotee, we should always keep this in mind. Anything which depreciate over a time, we don't want to buy brand new. So that means practically everything, because all material assets depreciate with time, except maybe your house. And in that also I said, go for old house, not for the brand new house, because upfront you are saving 30%, 20% minimum. So even if you have to buy any appliances, and in the US is such a good country in that aspect, you find everything secondhand, practically everything, whatever is small appliances to big things, everything you can buy secondhand with too much effort, without too much effort. So why not go for that? Even for buying appliances, washer, dryer, and things like that. When I moved to this house, I needed to buy washer, dryer because it was not there in this house. Instead of buying $2,000 brand new, I bought it for $350 secondhand. So all the furniture, everything in my house is old. Not a single thing is new. If you take into account everything in my house, it don't cost more than $2,000, including beds, furniture, tables, this, that, whatever. 2,000 also I said too much. It's not even worth that. So
would you recommend to go for a lease option or a buying option for a car? Because on a visa,
Yeah,
becomes
lease option is not good because it comes with its own cost and its own condition. So generally what they say that at the end of lease term, 3 years lease term, then you have to either buy back the car or give back. So if you give back, then you lose a lot of money. Even if you buy, then you will be stuck to whatever price that is. You cannot like go for a market car, right? So it's always better to buy instead of getting a lease. And just consider this again, the need versus want and the sense gratification principle. When we land in US, which was the first car any devotee bought? Is what a brand new car? No. You bought the cheapest possible car, maybe 10-year, 15-year-old car, right? So what is the harm? Once we start earning, we want to entangle ourselves by buying a new car. That is pure sense gratification, nothing else. Since Krishna gave more money to me, I want to indulge that money in sense gratification. That's all it is. If you buy a new car, are you going to sell it after 10 years or 5 years? No. Once you buy a new car, you will keep it as long as possible. So what is the harm in buying an old car? 5-year-old car if you buy, that is as good as your old 5-year-old car which you bought brand new. But now that is worth half its cost and cost you so much in taxes and insurance already. Right?
Prabhuji.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question, Prabhuji. So I have already, in a lease for a car. So do you suggest it's like 3-year lease? I already completed 2 years. So do you suggest that I should buy back or
Just look at the numbers. Discuss what makes more sense. Because you have to discuss with your dealer, right? What is the buyback option? What is the lease? If you want to terminate the lease, and what are the options? How much you are losing? How much you have to pay? So make decision. Again, it's make decision based on pure finances. Don't bring your emotions or don't bring your other things into it. Because most of the time we buy house and car based on emotion. Buy based on this principle. Only pure financial. I am driving 20-year-old, which I bought 8 years ago. Same car I am driving still today, no problem at all. It's 160K already on the odometer. So if you take care of your car, then these cars runs for 250, 300K easily. No problem. And again, how Krishna helps. I met with a small accident with this car in February this year. And in that accident, the side fender and the door got dented. And the side mirror and the side corner light got damaged. It was not my fault, by Krishna's mercy. So insurance company declared it as total because it was already old car, just 3,400 worth. So there is no point in repairing it. So they consider it total. They gave me the cash. Now that car is perfectly driving, only cosmetic damage. I got that cosmetic damage repair, replace the side mirror, replace the corner light so that it passed the safety inspection. Other than that, it's running fine. So what is the point in buying a new car? So Krishna gave me the money of what I bought this car for 5,500. I ran it for 8 years. Krishna provided 3,500 for that. And it is still running. I can still sell it for $500, $600. It has brand new tires. It is still working nice. If I can sell it to any student or anybody, they can easily buy for another $600, $700 or up to $1,000 anyway. Easily. So Krishna helps. There are many examples I had in last couple of years that in how many different ways he can help, provided we are focused at what we are doing, why we are doing. These opportunities, this HM Bradley, these bank bonuses and all, I don't go search for it anywhere. Krishna provided just random, some internet, something, some news article. I don't read any news. I am on a strict news fast. Only thing I read is about related to personal finance once in a while. And through that, I get this information. Krishna provided. I didn't search or I didn't research here and there that I have to look for where I can make more, where I can make more. Krishna will provide opportunity ahead. He will help. He is there. If our conscience is clear, then he will definitely come forward and help us. We don't have to be fearful. Devotees don't have to be fearful. And that helps us to surrender to Krishna. That increase our faith. That increase our commitment. Because many a times we hear this complaint that how do we see that Krishna is reciprocating? These are the kind of examples. We are not exalted devotee that will get the real darshan or the real realization or real bliss. But even in these small things, we can see that how Krishna is helping, how he's providing, how he's reciprocating. So if we keep that in mind, then our life is anyway blissful. Every day it's blissful. Right? So any other question on car buying or anything else we covered in this session? Then I want to quickly cover child education as well today, if you are all okay, so that we don't run into extra time tomorrow, if it's fine. If it's too late, then I understand, then it's Damodar month, there are other commitments. So we are at the top of the hour, so it's perfectly fine if we can continue tomorrow. But if we can extend for 10 more minutes, then probably we can finish this section.
I think we can go for 10 more minutes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Tomorrow will be difficult. Today is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's go forward and then we'll cover the child education. So again, we will go back to principles, that why we are educating our kids. And educating, here we are talking about the material education. We all gone through the college education. And by doing that, what we got? We got living, the means of living. We are getting some money by which we are living. And then how we are living, we all already seeing this last 6 hours. That even after getting material education, even after earning, where we are ultimately. So just give this a thought. Gurukul education is the best education. Vedic education is the best education. That is what the scripture injunction and the recommendation is. So if our situation allows, or even if not situation allows, if we can make our situation like that, that if we can offer Gurukul education, especially to boys, then we can save ourselves from lot of hassles and especially do lot of favor to that kid instead of putting him into this material rat race and the fire of material education. And if we have sincere desire, then again Krishna will help, and he can definitely make ways, because I personally came to know many devotees who have shifted to India just for this one particular reason, that they wanted their boys to study in Gurukul. So they shifted to Mayapur, Vrindavan, and some other places just for this one particular reason. And especially like, as I said, that my Guru Maharaj got this instruction, that's very famous saying from His Holiness Bhakti Charaswami Maharaj, that give this one life to Krishna. So we probably could not do it, but can we make it happen for our children? His another concern was, as I shared before, that not many devotee kids are joining temple. We are getting new brahmacharis, but they are first generation brahmacharis. There are not many brahmacharis coming from existing devotee parents. Why is that? Don't we have faith in our own philosophy? Don't we believe in our own teachings? That we expect that other parents will allow their children to become brahmachari, but will not allow our own children to become brahmachari. We want them to get material education and get into this material world all over again. And another thing, just from our own perspective, we think that if we are consider ourselves as devotee, and if kid has born and come to our life, it means that he has come here to finish his unfinished job. Because we were not so fortunate. Like I got Krishna consciousness at the age of 40, just 3 years back. Years of my life I spent without this knowledge, without these teachings. And our kids at least are getting exposure to this at a very early age. So isn't that they are more fortunate than us? And we know the example of Prahlad Maharaj, where if a kid is a devotee, he anyway delivers his all previous and forthcoming generations. So even if we fail in our sadhana, if our kids become perfect, then we achieved our goal. And again in Bhagavatam it's mentioned that as a parent, we should not become parent if we cannot make our kids Krishna conscious. So based on it makes sense in all aspects to have kids educated in Gurukul. And we fortunately have several options now as compared to previous years. Almost in India, I would say that there are many places where Gurukul and ISKCON supported schools are there. In Pune it is there, in Visakhapatnam it is there. Traditional Gurukuls are there in Vrindavan, in the Badrika Ashram in Punjab, in Belgaum, I think is one is there. Vrindavan has a full school Gurukul which has a international syllabus. So you are not missing on anything. You are getting best of both the worlds. So that is the thing. And to consider is college degree is not must for living. We know that for practical example, that there are many examples in this world who never went to college and materially they are very successful. So again, it's not mandatory that only if somebody goes to college, get a degree, then they can make a living, otherwise they will starve. There is nothing like that. If you have spot any talent in your children, then encourage that. Whether it's music, cooking, singing, any art, drawing, painting. If any such talent you find, then try to encourage it instead of going with the traditional education. Consider unconventional career option. We normally think that doctor, engineer, CA, these are the only careers. But there are many career options are available in the market today. Some of the examples, especially if you talk about US, you can become real estate agent, you can become insurance agent, you can become dental hygienist, you can become medical record keeper, you can become executive assistant, you can become retail store manager. You will be surprised. Whole food store manager earns more than 100K, equivalent to IT job. You can have your own small business. You can become code developer, just like on your own, self freelance. You can become elevator technician. You can become HVAC technician. All these are the jobs which I'm talking about, pays more than 70 to 80K per year and may not need full 4-year college degree. You can become loan officer, you can become car salesperson, you can become power plant engineer, power plant operator. You can join military. If you are in US especially, there are various advantages of joining military even for a short time. You can become digital marketer. If you have flavor of writing, you can become blogger. So there are so many unconventional options are there. So getting college degree from a very reputed college is not the only thing. Another huge cost saver is consider community college. So in US, you have community college in almost all big cities. So these colleges provide you the associate degree, not the full 4-year bachelor degree, but the associate degree, which is kind of diploma in Indian terms, if you consider. Like in India, we have after high school, you could go for diploma and then go for degree. So similarly, here you have community colleges which offer associate degree. And in some district, they have an arrangement with high school that in the 10th or 11th grade of high schooler, if they enroll in community college, then they can have a 13th. Like after 12th, they can spend 1 more year in community college and get associate degree. So that associate degree is equivalent to 2-year college degree. So let's say at the 13th year, you come out of associate degree, and then you have 2 more years to complete your formal bachelor degree. So for that, you can transfer to university. You don't have to do any SAT. You don't have to do any ACT. And you can simply transfer from community to the state college, public state college. And then you can finish your degree in 2 years. So with this, you will finish your degree 1 year less. Instead of 4 years, you will finish your degree in 3 years. So you are saving the cost of 1 year. And with this high school arrangement, there is no tuition fee in community college. So till 13th year, you don't pay any fees. You don't pay any cost. So with just 2 years of college, you get degree of 4 years, plus you save 1 extra year. So let's say if you do job in that 1 extra year, then whatever you have paid in 2 years of that college, that is paid off. So that means no cost college education, even without saving. We talked about saving, but even if you don't have saving, you can get your kid bachelor degree from US college by this route. There are other options like online degrees. Now Google has launched many courses, professional courses online, which cost 1/10 or 1/20th of the original cost which you paid in college. And they have collaborated already with 34 different big companies, which will consider you for job after you pass out those Google online courses. So if you have some kids who are technically good, who are self-driven, they can follow the discipline and do things, then this is another option you can look at. And then plan for state or in-city college. Don't go for out-of-state college because that will cost more. And if you can plan for in-city college, then kid can live with you and you can save on dorm and meal cost, which is almost 50% or more than 50% of your college cost. Housing and eating. So these two you can save if the kid can stay with you and you enroll him in your own local college rather than going for out of city or out of state college. And for undergraduate degree, don't go for big names. Ivy League, Cornell, Penn State, Stanford, unless you have a full scholarship. Because for a bachelor degree, it's not worth financially. For masters, it's fine. If you get a scholarship, there is more opportunity to get a scholarship for master's degree. But for bachelor degree, it's not financially prudent to go for these big names. If your child is exceptionally well and if you get full scholarship, then it's another thing. But don't spend 200K, 300K, 250K out of your pocket just to get them educated from this one of prestigious named colleges. Okay, so again, like all other topics, if we keep these things in mind, we keep our need versus want separate, and we just stick to our basic principles, then paying for college is not a big deal. I told you already how we can save for college, and in that we covered that even with community college route, without paying any single dime, you can get your kid educated. But even if, let's say, you have to pay, then these are the options. One is federal aid. Every student is eligible to get federal aid depending upon your financial situation. So the way to act on it is that you don't have any assets in your children's name. If you have any savings.
Is this only for the citizens or even the green card holder children also?
Green card holder children also apply all these things. Okay, so it's for both citizens and green cards, same thing. So if you don't have any assets in children's name directly, then you can reduce your contribution and you can get more aid from government because they consider assets of children as their own assets, which can be spent for education. So they will pay you less. So don't have any checking accounts, any bonds, any shares, or any other investment in children's name until they become old to earn on their own.
Prabhuji, one question here.
Yes.
What about state government college savings plans? Do they come under that?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, do they come under their asset name under the children or no?
Yeah. They will become under asset name. So need-based and merit-based scholarship. So this is another source. So if you are a low income and qualify, then you can get need-based scholarship, but most of us may not qualify for that. So another option is merit-based scholarship. This kid is maintaining good grades. They are having extracurricular activities and other things. then they can tap into this merit-based scholarship. And again, that following the community college route will help them to get this merit-based scholarship, because that will show that they are eager to complete their college degree and they are already ready or prepared for that. So that reflects good on their scholarship applications for merit-based scholarship rather than a plain high school graduation. Then we already discussed that if you take IUL, then you can definitely withdraw from that to pay for the colleges if you planned early enough and you have enough corpus built up in that. We can use our ETF corpus if you have built up that.
What is IUL, Prabhuji? What is IUL?
Yeah, we covered it in second session. If you miss that, maybe you can follow up on YouTube. Sure. Yeah, and tomorrow we will discuss that again in detail. So if you want to know more, please join tomorrow's call. And especially for our population, like for this demographic, I would not recommend 5 to 9 plans. Now I will tell you reasons why. The number one reason is that it restricts us. It restricts us in a way that you can use this 529 only for education, college education purpose, nothing else. That also about the state savings plans and any other related plans. Second is our situation that we are not 100% sure that our kids will graduate in US or not. So in that scenario, ET1 doesn't make sense. Because what if you are invested in it and you got stuck with it and your kid does not even want to go college, or you find those other routes which we discussed to get his college education, or we want to get them educated in India, right? So then what to do? This money, if you withdraw, then you will pay penalty, 10% penalty. Same rule. If you use for non-college purpose, you pay penalty. You can transfer it to other sibling, but again, same thing. If you don't have other sibling, only kid, or then again, it's a problem. And in US, it's popular because for them, it may make sense because grandfathers use it to fund their grandchildren's education. They give it to their niece, nephews, other relatives. Sometimes they even fund their friends' daughters and sons' education. But mostly for us, we are like a single nuclear family here. If you don't have too many relatives or too many people which can make use of it, in case your child is not able to use it, then unnecessarily you are risking 10%. It may make little sense if your state offers tax saving. But again, it's a state bound. So what if you move and you don't graduate in the same state? Then you have to transfer that plan to some other state. What if your child gets a scholarship and you don't need money at all? So the option is you can withdraw from it equivalent to your scholarship amount, but unnecessarily you have put a money which probably you don't need. So that's why, because of all these reasons, I would say consider, like, thoroughly study what your 529 plan option is, what kind of tax benefit, if at all, it is offering, what are the rules, whether you can transfer it over to the other state or not, and whether you are very firm and clear about where your child will get graduated. Considering all that factor, if you are very sure, you can consider it, but otherwise I would say no. Keep yourself flexible. IUL, ETF is much better option. All your money is in your hand. You can use the way you want, and you can take decision based on that rather than restricting yourself just to this one.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. So if the kid, as they grow up and they don't want to pursue or finish their college and they want to start a small business, they're capable of, they're very confident. So can we use this 529 investment? No.
This is only for college and education expenses. For any other purpose, if you use, you pay 10% penalty.
Oh, so it's basically wasted then, if you put money aside.
Yeah. Because again, the principle of investing is that the more restrictive it is, the less favorable for us. we should have the investment which is very open, very flexible as far as possible, unless it is giving that the restrictions are outweighing the benefits. Then we can consider. For example, IRA, we are saying that we have restriction till 59.5, but the benefits which we are getting are far too greater. So let's go for it. But in this case, benefits don't outweigh. So we should reconsider.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, please correct me if my understanding is wrong. The 10% penalty is only on the earnings, right?
It depends if it is pre or post. Because as I said, that some state provide tax benefit. So if they provide tax benefit, then penalty may be on the entire thing.
Okay. And the second point is, sorry, I lost my train of thought. If the kid goes to college, then the earnings become tax free, right?
Yes, then earning becomes tax free. But as I said, that in IUL you have tax free withdrawal, in ETF tax free withdrawal, and you have flexibility.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have a so for the FAFSA, you said like we should not have any assets on the kids' names so they can get more benefit out of the thing. So if we have I was just wondering, like if we have any assets, means like the liquid cash or something in the things, like when we are filing as a parents, right? So we have to declare our details.
Right.
So would that affect any of the decision process?
Right. Yes, very good question, Prabhuji. So for FAFSA, they take into account 2-year prior tax return. So when your kids was in 10th grade, that calendar year return when you file, that return they will consider for calculating your first year FAFSA. And this FAFSA has to be done every year because your situation may change. So for the first year, they will always take 2-year prior. So depending upon your assets or income which you have declared in that return, they will calculate your contribution based on that. So it's always better to reduce your liquid asset visibility, I would say. If you can hide it somewhere, for example, transfer to India. So that you directly don't show. You just show some interest income, but that is one way to hide it. Or you can put it in FCNR deposit or something to hide it. But otherwise, based on your asset, they will calculate. So if you show too much liquidity or too much home equity so they don't count 401k, they don't count life insurance, they don't count those kind of assets. But if any ETFs you have, any liquid bank balance you have, so those assets are counted.
Okay, so we need to be careful while applying for those things.
Yeah, but it won't make much of a difference because for parent they consider only 4.6%, but for kids the percentage is much higher. So even if let's say you have 40,000 in cash, so out of this 40,000 they will consider 4% as your contribution of that for kids education.
So because my son, he is already, he's going to the community college. So we were applying the FAFSA, but whenever I think both the years when he contacted the counselor, so basically the college said like based on your income range or what they're calling, so they said like you are not eligible for any aid.
Right.
But you might be able to apply for a loan up to $7,500 or something like that.
Right.
I think that was the yearly cost of the college. I think that's
right. Yeah. So that is the thing. Like if our income is too much, and again, this 401k contribution and all this will come handy because they were overall adjusted gross income. So on paper, it will show that you have less liquid income. It means that you are more in need. And again, it depends on how many householders you have, how many earning members you have. Is there any other sibling who is college going or something like that? So all those factors come into picture. But yeah, if you are qualified, if you don't, then what we can do? So
I was just curious, like means the way what I was showing is right or wrong? Like, or is there a way we can?
No, that is the right way, because you cannot make up anything on that. It's just that you feel it properly, understand what all the fields are, put accurate numbers in there, don't miss out any information. And then based on that, then whatever is the decision.
So basically, if we can reduce our adjusted gross income, so we might be able to a little bit get benefit.
So maybe 2 years before, maximize your IRA, so that reduce your overall gross income.
Okay.
So that is one trick which we can play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Okay. Any other question on this? Okay, so this is the smallest topic. We'll just quickly go through it. Children's marriage. As I said in the beginning, for devotees, this is not a concern. Like finding the right partner is the main concern. So as a parent, we find it's our main responsibility that we find the right partner for them. We get proper pre-marriage counseling done for them. Especially the Grahastha Vision team, ISKCON, does a very wonderful job of counseling the devotees, or even like kids of devotee parents before they enter into the marriage, to explain the right principle, like why we are entering into the Grahastha Ashram, what is our goal, what we are trying to achieve by entering into the Grahastha Ashram. So based on that, that is the main responsibility. Now, as far as expenses are confirmed, again, our main responsibility is to provide them debt-free college, so that when they come out of college, they don't have to pay their student loan, or you don't have to pay their student loan. So based on the college planning we just discussed, if we can provide them debt-free college education, and we do the pre-marriage counseling and explain to them the purpose of the marriage and Grahastha Ashram, then I think that's the biggest thing which is done as far as duty is concerned. And as far as marriage is concerned, marriage is concerned, whatever less, whatever more you expend, there is no limit to it. You can get married in as less as possible, and you can spend as much as possible. There is no limit to it. Ambani spent 100 crores on daughter's marriage. Somebody can get married in $1,000 also. So that's why, like, as far as our principles are concerned, as I said, marrying daughter is parents' duty. Marrying son is even not the duty of the parent. It should be the last priority to save after retirement, education, house, and charity. So the financial goals which we discuss, this should come in the last.
hands on the towel.
So this should come as the last. We should not save for the marriage before any of these goals, because these other goals are more important than spending on children's marriage.
Prabhuji, are these goals in the priority order? Retirement, education?
Yes. Pay yourself first. So your retirement comes first. Nobody is going to be responsible for your own retirement except yourself. So yeah, that are in that priority order.
So even charity, you're saying it's the last priority?
No. In the priority means those goals. Charity is anyway, it's always top that we should do charity every month, because that is the instruction that we should purify our income every month. Whatever we are earning, we should put a portion of that for charity every month. And then at the end, whatever corpus or whatever savings we have generated, out of that we discuss various options, that from retirement corpus, if we have option, we can do from house, we can do charity. From any other assets which we have built up, if you are not able to use it, then we can do charity from that. So we should do all that. But in the priority, as I said, that child marriage is the last. It should not be the before any of those. That is the main thing. And children can fund themselves. If they want to spend more, we can say that whole life, everything was taken care. We got the education done debt-free. Now, if you want to spend more on marriage, you are now capable enough on spend. We can get marriage in ISKCON temples. Such a nice marriage. Such a nice arrangements are made among the devotees in front of the deities. If you get married, that's the most auspicious thing, auspicious beginning of Grahastha Ashram. So there is no need to spend huge amount of sums on weddings. So I hope that makes sense. So with this, we can wrap up today's session. So if there are any final comments or questions, I can take it up for a few minutes, and then we can discuss insurance tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.
Prabhuji,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about charity. So based on everything that we plan our retirement, we put that money aside, a mortgage, our insurance, how much percentage do you recommend or suggest for charity?
Mataji, it's
per
personal
year?
decision. It's a personal decision. Shastra's recommendation is 50%. So
50.
if we take that as a guideline, but again, it's a personal decision based on the situation, based on your motivation, based on the circumstances you are in. You make out a way for it. That's why in like monthly budget, I put a line item that, and everybody, I think all the devotees anyway do it. But we should put a budget for charity also, so that we have that money. It's not like that we find money to do charity. It should be allocated so that we don't have to look after it.
So if we buy books, Srila Prabhupada's books, and we distribute, should we put that under charity?
Yeah, if you are buying on your own and then you are distributing without any remuneration, yes. So then, yeah, that is a done. Like we have that campaigns like Gita Dan and Bhagavatam donation in Bhadra Purnima and all. Yeah, so if you are sponsoring some books, that count as charity.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Talk about this counselor service. So how do we get in touch with them if we have to?
So there is a Grahastha Vision team. If you search Grahastha Vision team ISKCON, they have the website, and they have various counselors listed there. They have the contact us page and the personal contacts of all the counselors. So you can get in touch with any of them.
Okay.
And they have very nice resources on that website about various articles, books, and case studies and things like that. So they are very, very resourceful information with them.
Right.
What is the website link? Sorry.
Yeah.
Prabhuji has put in the chat. It's vaishnavafamilyresource.org.
Yeah, I just got that. Oh.
Prabhuji, I had another question.
Sure.
So I know the benefit, a young adult can have going through the brahmachari ashram system, going through the austerities and connecting with Krishna, reading shastras. For boys, I know it's a possibility. Is there anything for the girls?
Yeah, I have both girls, Mataji, and this is one area where I am struggling myself. Because this is my wish that I could get them educated like that. So two options. One is in Mayapur, we have Mayapur International School, which is a co-ed school. So in that, girls can study up to 12th. So they have tie up with Cambridge University. So it's best of the both worlds. So you get the proper education as well as Krishna conscious and values as well. Second is consider homeschooling, because many parents, especially in US, are doing that. There are many resources are available, help is available, motivated, and if you have the family support, because that are the key for doing homeschooling. So that is another option where you can give like proper education, Vedic education to girl children. And then there is another school in Dallas, TKG Academy. So that is also a co-ed school. So there also you can get admission if you are in Dallas, or you can move to Dallas if that allows you. And another option we have in Alachua. Alachua also has a co-ed school. So if your situation allows, and so you can move there, and then you can get girls kids admitted there as well. So these are the available options which I am aware of. There may be some more, but these are the ones which I am aware of within ISKCON.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you said Gurukul in Visakhapatnam in Andhra. I have never heard it, Prabhu.
Gurukul where?
In Visakhapatnam, you said, right?
Visakhapatnam is not a Gurukul, it's a school with Visakhapatnam ISKCON.
ISKCON, okay. Yeah.
Nitai Sevini Mataji is the principal of that school. Yeah. So it's not a proper residential Gurukul, but it's a school.
Yes, that I know. I thought it's a Gurukul.
Yeah. No, sorry, it's a school. So school come Gurukul. So at least they get some Krishna conscious involvement, even if they are getting normal education. But if they can get in some ISKCON supported school, that is better than going to normal school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, just to understand, clarify one more time, you mentioned is that we should not pass on any assets to the kids. Is that what you're saying?
Preferably not, because there is no need. Because as I said that we have this saying that Put saput to kyo dhan sanchay, Put kaput to kyo dhan sanchay. So if your kid is good, then why do you hoard money? If your kid is not good, why do you hoard money?
Yes,
Prabhu, on that thing, Prabhu, actually you spoke living in an ancestral house, 2 generations living in a one house.
Right.
That way, the living house is asset, right, Prabhu?
No. So one house where you are living is not an asset.
Okay.
Because that is the roof you need to live.
We can pass on the house.
Yeah. So yes. So you just have, let's say for family, you just have one house. So you are living with your kids. You pass away. So yeah, that is the inheritance you can pass to your kids, so that they don't have to build another house and they can retire much earlier. They don't have to spend any money to get another house. But the thing is that don't compromise your retirement for that. Don't compromise that just to leave that house, just to build that house, paying installment till end of your last breath, and then your child is getting that house. By selling that house, if you can get retire early, do that.
Okay. And Prabhu, for the kids who are of the age around 10 and 3, so if we inculcate consciousness in them, so is there any suggestion? What can we do within our existing location? Keeping
so consciousness, like about these financial things, or overall
Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, there are a lot of resources, Prabhu. Like there are many online classes, there are many groups are there. In local communities also, there you may find something. So, so there are many ways to encourage them.
I am involving in local community recently, Prabhu. I am getting some idea, but what homeschooling you suggested, right? Something like that. If there is any curriculum wise, if you go.
I think ISKCON Chicago has a very good team about homeschooling. So I think Namruchi Prabhu can connect you with.
Mean to say homeschooling, when you say religious part, we will teach homeschooling, and remaining everything they go to normal school, right?
No. If possible, you can do whole schooling at home in US. So Arundhati Mataji, Arundhati Mataji.
For us.
So that's what I'm saying, that there is an option to do in US. You don't need to go to normal school. Okay. Yeah, you can educate at home. You can get the end of year exams done, and that is recognized as good as you are going to public school. Okay. But if that is not an option, if they are going to normal school, at least we can spend rest of the time out of their school curriculum to have them some exposure to Krishna conscious activities and classes and activities and things like that. Okay. Yeah, like personally for my daughter, she is 8 years old, so she spent almost 2 to 3 years every day attending classes and courses and doing Krishna conscious activity, reading. I spent time with her reading every day, doing arti, deity worship. So we can help them to get all this exposure.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam.
So
thank you so much for taking your time to educate all of us, and I really took a lot of action item on me myself personally. There are 2 questions I have. One is that if still we don't know our daughter what she will like, so if still she's like a 1-year-old, and if you want to save a college fund for her, what do you suggest is a good amount to start contributing for her college fund, so that it covers? I don't have any idea, but that's why I'm checking.
So if you talk about US, the current cost of any public university, you can again check those costs. Is it public domain? So you can search for it and find out in your local city or wherever you want her to get educated. But in general, public college cost around $15,000 to $20,000 per year, including housing and meal. So for 4 years, you are talking about anywhere around $70,000 to $80,000. That is in today's term. So you have to take into account 5 to 7% inflation, because inflation on education is much higher than general inflation. So cost will increase, let's say 5% every year. So based on that, find out after 18 years how much that would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And then based on that, you divide and.
Yeah. And then you put the reverse calculation back into that calculator and that Excel sheet. And then you figure out how much every month you have to do to reach that particular amount after 18 years.
I see. So this 539 also we can invest in some index funds and all, or this 539
Yeah.
we can't use?
No, 529 you can invest in index fund, just like our IRA. All those options are there. Yeah, you can take equity, you can take hybrid, you can take bond, whatever you want.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And another question I had, like this is employee stock purchase plan. I could not get like what is the best thing to do with that, like the whatever company gives.
Yeah, it depends on company to company what kind of offer it is, whether it's totally free of cost or how much long it will take to waste, what are the restrictions on buying or selling those once you get it. So based on that, make a decision, because each company's policy is different. So I don't know all the details. So depending upon that, whatever makes sense. If it's totally free of cost, it's just as a perk, so it doesn't hurt to take it.
I see. Generally, like they sell in 15% less than like whatever is the price, whatever they decide. I know it's a different.
Yeah, but yeah, if it is like putting your money and buying it 15% less, then I would say reconsider, because depending upon which company it is, what kind of prospect it has. Yeah, because you are buying it 15% less from market price, but ultimately you are buying in a dead horse. So what is the point? But if it is a good company which has a good prospect of growing and you are getting it 15% less, then probably it may make sense little bit.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, one more question regarding the. You mentioned that we should have a debt-free education for the kids. Why do you say? I know. Normally, at least I know a couple of, and myself, as a loan I've taken and I pay off. It's not that I'm not blaming on my parents, but I'm talking about why that is to be.
That is just to give them a good, solid foundation to start their life. Okay. If they can start off without any loan, then right from day one, they can get onto this plan. Otherwise, first few years, they will be paying off their loan. And if your kids are not disciplined, then they can ruin their life just because of that loan. What if they start earning and they want to spend, don't pay loan. They have so much expenses. They say, hey, Dad, I'm not getting anything. How can I pay them?
Yeah.
So,
but it could be for them. This could be they realize that okay, I need to pay off. Then they could be in a disciplined manner when they realize the money.
It again depends on the child to child and parent to parent. So take based on your situation. But again, concept is that want to live debt-free life. That is the number one thing. Whatever kind of debt, whether it's a house loan, a student loan, this loan, debt loan, ideally we should try to live loan-free, debt-free. Because beg, borrow, steal is not for devotees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Prabhuji, we are talking about kids, and we see that when they start early and making the right decisions and knowing the importance of need versus want and how to manage their finances, how to save. Do you have any such workshops, seminars for teenagers going into college so that they can start early?
Because they can follow the same thing, because there is no different teaching or seminar, because this is very much beneficial for anyone who is entering into the work life. Because as we are all discussing, we are at different stages of life. We did not get in many comments. I already received that probably I would have got this session 10 years back. Probably I would have got this session 15 years back. So if there are enough kids then I can have a separate session for them, tailor-made little bit so that it address their immediate need. So I would be very willing to do that if we can have interest for that. Not a problem. And again, kids learn from us. We are their first teachers. So whatever principle we believe in, whatever lifestyle we believe in, they will naturally inherit those.
But Prabhuji, what happens is, you know, that saying, Ghar ki murgi dal barabar. So
Right.
they don't hear, I mean, what we
Right.
say,
Right.
they may
No,
not.
what I'm saying
hear
that
from
don't
you.
say,
Yeah.
don't praise them. By your actions. So for example, I would say that my parent never took loan. So that thing I inherit from him. Though he was not earning very much, he built his house by taking not technically loan. He just took from his friends. Like he took some small amounts from his friends, and we just built a 500 square feet house. Just whatever bare minimum is needed. We didn't even finish it full. Whatever bare minimum. It has a roof, gates, walls. That's it. Enough. So I inherited that principle. He followed the budget from the day one. My mother used to run the household from that budget. She used to save every month even from that budget. He used to write every expenses in the diary every day in the end of the day. So by looking at that, I got that from the beginning, right? So if you are not buying new cars, then definitely your kids will understand, and when they want to go for a new car, they will understand. You know, but if you yourself are buying a new car every 5 years, how can you expect them to not buy a new car as soon as they start earning? You know, so that from that aspect, I was saying that we teach them by our own example, and then for giving technical things, then we can have session. That's not a problem. I can explain to them.
Okay, great, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, sorry devotees, like we went quite overboard the time, and I apologize for that, but I think it was a very good interactive session. So I really like that you all are participating so enthusiastically, and I hope that I am able to mitigate some of your apprehensions, some of your anxieties, and so if you can have a peaceful night's sleep, then
yeah, well, this is very helpful.
So then job is done by Krishna's mercy. So keep me in your prayers. That's the only thing I just request all of you, because there is a long way for me also to go. I know that we are talking about all these lofty goals and plans and our sincere desire, but without mercy we cannot fulfill. So that is another thing. So by your association, by your mercy, hopefully I will be able to live up to all of this, and will be able to have successful Vanprastha life for myself, and be able to help others doing the same. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are actually doing the other way around. You are distributing mercy to us.
No problem. I'm no one. I'm no one.
Thank you so
Krishna
much.
is the ultimate. Krishna is the ultimate mercy restorer. I'm just an instrument which he is using, and it's again like I just prayed to him because I don't have any other talent. And I was talking to my Guru Maharaj. I was wanted to talk to him, but he left this world too early, because I was planning to go to him. This was in my mind that I don't have any other talent. Instrument. I don't have any Shastric knowledge. I can't preach. There is no temple in my town here, so I can't do any service in congregation too much. So I was too much in anxiety that how I can serve. Every day I'm hearing devotees are doing such great, wonderful services all over the world. And here I am just sitting in my home doing nothing. And that inspired me that whatever you have, use it for Krishna's service. I read that in purports again and again. So I was thinking that how can I use, because this is the only asset I have in terms of whatever experience or knowledge I acquired in my material life. So I was just thinking that how can I use this as a service? And somehow Krishna provided that opportunity, and His Holiness Jayadeva Swami Maharaj and Anandamayi. So,
Prabhu, one small question, Prabhu.
Yes.
Not about the finances part, Prabhu. How do you avoid news, Prabhu? First time I'm hearing this, because I watch too much of a news. It
I
really
don't have
bothers me
TV.
all the time.
I don't have TV. I don't have cable connection. I don't have any news app installed in my phone. And I don't go to any website. It's in my hand. I have the ad blocker in my browser, so it doesn't pop up anything. So it's very simple.
I have to try, Prabhu, because I always keep going into that. Though I'm not going to get anything, but I keep doing that.
Yeah, I did that. I spent hours and hours there because at one time I wanted to become a news reporter. When I saw those news discussion and I saw that how foolishly they are discussing, what kind of panel discussion is that? If I am one of the panel member or a moderator, I could have done much better job. And I used to spend hours and hours watching all this. But Krishna's mercy, last 3 years, everything has changed.
That's really a big takeaway for me. Yeah. And also, Prabhu, you superimposed a few many concepts that we were believing to be right. Always we were struggling to live with that, but there was too much of pressure. Now we can be assertive in going with that direction.
Yeah. Sorry, I just lost your thought. There was a chat
for example,
comment,
Prabhu, we were keeping a minimalistic life,
right.
Most part of it, but there was a pressure from family, peers, and friends.
Right.
So it was really so hard to resist all that, to fall into that trap.
Right.
I could able to resist it in many occasions, but there was a lot of pressure.
Right.
So the way you said, literally superimposes what we were doing is in a right direction to our goal.
Right. Yeah, because there is a lot of subtle sense gratification we as a devotee also get into, you know. I realize that many a times. We say that, okay, we are using everything of Krishna's service, so using material things is not a problem. But are we really? No. We have to ask that question very sincerely to ourselves. Yeah. Right? We have a big house. So is that whole big house is being used for Krishna's service?
No.
Krishna's is just in 550 or 100 or 150 square feet in that house. Square feet I'm using for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that, there are many such aspects. I want to get dressed nicely because when I go to in front of deities, you know, Krishna can see me that, okay, yes, I am very nice, presentable. But that doesn't mean that you beg, borrow, or still like you don't plan for your retirement, you don't for your basic necessity expense, and you spend on expensive cloth, jewelry to get in front of Krishna. The principle is that we have to be presentable to the best possible capacity. It's not like that we have a dhoti and kurta and we go in front of Krishna and Bermuda. So that is the principle. It's not like that we wear a silk dhoti and Kanjivaram sari and gold jewelry and then we go in front of Krishna, then he will be pleased. So there are many such things like that. If we look closely, then we will find that, yeah, somehow or other we are attached to sense gratification.
Yeah, actually, your that plan of one room less, you can fund the kids' education. That really convinced my wife. I was struggling to convince her. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prabhuji,
yes, Prabhu.
Would you be covering will, the aspects of how to create a will?
Yes, Mataji, tomorrow we'll cover that. Yes, tomorrow
okay,
we'll go through that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Prabhu.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vishnavedyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.